Hey guys, I hope you guys are good. Listen, I hope I'm clear and I'm not blurry. I know my connection's a little bit bad, but let me just say this first and foremost. Like I said, my dream has come true. I said none of those people will see an ounce of that money. I said it from the very beginning. I'm in my hotel, but let me say it one more time for you. Not one lick of those people were going to see the money. Not Chelly, not Ace, not Taylor, not Nicolandria. None of you are going to see that money. Once you betrayed Jeremiah, you sold your birthrights down the river. Y'all acted like you were Esau given over to Jacob. Okay? All right. Y'all turned into the betrayer and the accuser of the brethren by setting down Jeremiah to support Huda. Y'all thought you were going to get away with it and give us a fake and give us an inauthentic a couple called Nicolandria and hope that you guys were going to be happy about it because you wanted to ship them when they didn't even shipping themselves. Oh, no, 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 no. No, 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 no. Listen, let me say this again. I said not Huda, not Chris. But Chris didn't do anything, but not Huda, not Nicolandria, not Ace, not Taylor, not Chelly, not one of y'all after you guys colluded together. You know what I'm saying to you? Listen, tomorrow I'll probably give you guys a proper live out of this, but I just want to say, listen, what the heck happened with Chris and freaking Huda? I mean, listen, what the heck happened with Chris and Huda? Blood, y'all can't even have a last date without you crashing out. I said this conversation was wild, and the conversation was kind of disrespectful, if I'm honest with you. The conversation went left real quick before the both of them. But like I said, okay, all right. Huda is a violent person emotionally, and I want to say again, she's abusive. I'm going to say it like I said in the very beginning. And if you're new here and you like Huda, that's fine. But I'm here to tell you what I've been saying to the very beginning. Huda is an abuser. Her behavior is very consistent. The same thing she did to Chris, the same thing she did to Jeremiah, but worse. With the Chris thing, it didn't go as far. But we can safely say this ain't about Jeremiah. I mean, Jeremiah needed better boundaries. Don't get to see. Yes, so. But let's be honest. Let's be honest now. Huda is abusive. I'm just going to be honest with you. She sucks the life out of you. You can't even sleep without her telling you you can't sleep. Why are you not cuddling me? What? At this confined moment, listen. There was no way Huda was going to see an ounce of that money. Never. I don't care if you got the hood rats, the hood, whatever. I don't care. The hoodlums. I don't care. The hooders. Have as many hooders as you want. You're not winning. Her behavior has become disgraceful. It's despicable. She needs to come outside, look at her behavior on the big boy screen, and recognize that this behavior was out of bounds and just ill-considerate. Nasty work. You can't survive around her. You know what I'm saying to you? She lacks understanding. She can't keep her mouth shut for a few seconds without interrupting, without trying to tell you how I feel, without actually really listening to a person to hear what their actual thoughts are. But we told you that already. Nicolandria stands who talked about the fact that these two could make it work. Where was the chemistry? That last kiss, I hear it. Didn't sell me. That last kiss on the beach didn't sell me. I'm so sorry, guys. Didn't sell me one bit. I went with it. You know what I'm saying to you? So for me, it's not it at all. I said, no, you got to go. I said, you got to go. I'm not here for that. We had obviously Iris and Pepe, they came like what, fourth or whatever. I said, thank God. Okay. I thank God. I just want to be honest with you and just want to say thank you for all of those who've been supporting me from the very beginning of the season. Okay, all right, to the end of the season. I've been calling out these people from the very beginning. I'm the one that keeps it real around here. I'm not going to try and sugarcoat it for men or women. When you got problems, we've got to call you out. That includes Jeremiah. When he was moving mad, I told you about his movements. He was moving mad. I'm saying to you, okay? So I want this season has been a show, but we've enjoyed it. Okay, all right. It doesn't work because people out here doing friendship stuff. Enemy territory, I hear it. Right? People doing enemy stuff. So for me personally, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna keep it nice and short and get Sean and see where on. I don't want to be too heavy. Don't worry. Tomorrow I'll be in full flesh. I've got to get to the dentist in the early hours of the morning. I'm gonna take a break and let's see when Sean handle the show tonight. But look, let me just say this now. Look, let me just say this now. Nicolandria didn't see an ounce of that money. Ace didn't see an ounce of that money. Taylor didn't see an ounce of that money. Chelly didn't see an ounce of that money. Huda didn't see an ounce of that money. I'm not saying I'm a prophet, by the way. I'm really not. That's not my gifting. But what I will tell you is this: they didn't see an ounce of that money, and I'm very, very happy. So I'm gonna get Seaway and Sean on. I'm sure they have different opinions to what I had as well. Tell Jesse Wu from my side, guys, as well, that Nicolandria won't see none of that money. Okay, all right. And let me know if I should send a donation to Nicolandria. Just let me know. I'll send a little $4.99 to them too as well, make them feel happy. Okay, so while you're here, make sure you tag Jesse Wu and say Jesse Wu, Kojo said, Nicolandria didn't see none of that money. Okay, can ship it all we want and put all the little nice little touches together. Y'all can put all the collages on TikTok. You can make all the videos together about how cute Nicolandria is. But listen now there's no 100K. Let's see how they go. Now there's no money. Let's see how they go. Now they might stay together for next year because there's gonna be some brand deals. Oh yeah, because people love the fact that they're an interracial couple dating as well. They love that. They're gonna eat it up. They're gonna jump in. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I won't be surprised if they stay together for a whole year. I won't be surprised because it's good business at the end of the day. And reality is that coming on a show like this, part of this is part business as well as partly finding love. And I'm not mad at it. It is what it is. At the end of the day, we have to be fair. So someone said Hilton is in the DMs, GQ, Vogue. Probably, yeah. Do you know what I mean? To be honest, all of these brands are in their things. They will definitely you don't have to win the show to win brand sponsorships. Like the reality situation is Nicolandria will be fine, Chelly will be fine, Ace will be fine. They are beautiful people and people now know them so well. Like they don't need to win the show. You know what I'm saying? They actually don't need to win the show. They will be fine. They will do numbers. We'll support them as well. And look, my lack of support for Nicolandria does not mean I don't support Alandria outside of the villa. No, I want to support all the endeavors. You know what I'm saying? Even Nick, I don't mind supporting because again, whilst on the show, yes, I have a vendetta and I will keep it personal, the vendetta on that show. What was it outside the show? Life is lifing. I want Nick to win. I want Alandria to win. I want Ace to win. I want Shelly to win. They should win and they should get their brand deals. They should get the sponsorship deals. They should get all those things because no matter what, they still put on a show for us on that platform. You know what I mean? And so yeah, they'll get their deals and we'll support them as well in that space as well. So someone said glad that Nicolandria will develop outside of villa. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Okay. But anyway, let me get my two fabulous co-hosts as well on Seaway and Sean. Woo, baby, listen, I'm gonna hand over the power to Sean. Sean, welcome for this thing, man. Amaya Papaya for the win. They said the first Latino couple to win apparently on Love Island. And it's been an amazing journey so far. 35 episodes of just a lot of entertainment, whether we liked it or not. It's a lot of entertainment. So just take us away, Sean.
Yeah, let's listen. I'm excited. I was a little dejected. I know you had your petty train choo-chooing away, but I was upset that Ace and Chelly got kicked out because I thought they were, a true couple. But Amaya Papaya for the win. I don't know if y'all can see, but I casted my vote. So I'm so excited that who I casted my vote for won. More power to them. I'm super excited. So I can't be more enthused. We called it. We were talking about it. Siwa and I have debriefed. I'll let her share her thoughts. But I wasn't surprised. Huda was hooding. And Chris showed out a little bit. Look, I said it before, don't be passive aggressive. When you're passive aggressive, that's like a ticking time bomb. It's a recipe for an explosion. And he definitely had a passive aggressive explosion tonight. Huda tried gentle parenting with him. I'm going to count to 1, 2, 3. He was like, you can count all you want to, and then they just persisted to petty wars. He wouldn't pick her up out of the water, which I thought was mean. You know, I was like, now, Chris, come on. Come on, Chris. You made your point. You know, don't let the lady walking by herself in the water. You know, that was mean, bro. So yeah. But again, the ending, you know, I feel some redemption because I was about to be like, where are we going, Love Island, with this? You know, who are we going to uplift at the end of the day? You know, so I'm glad that the right people won.
Sean, can you check the chat, please? Thank you so much. Thank you very much. I'm just checking in from Huda HQ. How y'all doing? First things first, I am really, really happy that the couple that I voted for won. I also voted, I don't have it up, but I also voted for Amaya and Brian, and they had the sweetest story. And I'm just really happy for Amaya, her redemption arc, and how she was treated in the beginning of the season, and her actually winning. And I feel like her and Brian are genuine, and so at least I want to believe that. And so I am really, really happy for them. As Sean already knows, I was very triggered by Chris this episode. I'm sure we'll get more into it. I was very, very triggered by him and his petty Paul behavior. And so we'll talk about that. But I agree with the rankings. All in all, I feel like America got it right with the rankings for sure. And so, yeah. We'll get into it. We'll get into how we get into it. But, you know, all in all, I don't want to start off with the negative because the positive is that the correct couple won. And that's good. That's good news. Right? And so, yeah.
Kojo wasn't playing. I know he said he was going to be out, but Kojo, I see that nice hotel in the background. Where are you off to? You off to Fiji? Are you?
No, I'm still in the UK. I'm off to the dentist in the morning, boy. You know what I mean? It's just I had to get there early. That's all. So I had to stay in the hotel.
Oh, you booking hotels for your dentist appointment? Okay.
It's a cheap hotel, please.
That don't look cheap. That looks very nice. Love it. So maybe we could take a cue from. We'll take a cue from what they did at their dinner the other night. We're going to start with our highlights and our lowlights. So I'll start. The highlight for me was getting to hear other than what we spoke about already. Amaya, Pepe, and Brian winning. The highlights was, I fast forwarded a little bit, but I got to hear some of the nice compliments in the speeches. So although, for the hood rats and the Huda adjacent folks, they might not have liked what Chris did and how passive aggressive he, might have reacted to Huda. But I did think he said some nice words at the end. She also said some nice words. I think he touched on some heartstrings with her, talking about her motherhood. I'll be honest, even seeing the family visit, and we saw the video from her adorable little daughter, and all the, her daughter telling her she loves her, she misses her, giving her the debriefs on, what she's been up to. She finished the school year. I thought that was so sweet. And I think that spoke positively to the kind of mother that she must be, so I think those were some of the highlights. I also love seeing Brian and Amaya's parents connect. Even Brian's father mentioned he loved seeing when, Brian stood up for Amaya, talking about the, Latina heritage and, how the women are, because she was getting a little beat up in the beginning, yes, she's a little extra. Yes, she's over the top. But, she is a lover at heart. And I think that Brian truly, from what I see, and I hope, he does like her and wants to give it a go. So yeah. See what you think.
From the whole season or just this last episode?
Last few episodes, anything you want to.
I would say my highlights were just how Amaya and Brian, not only were they there for each other, I loved how they were consistently there for their castmates. Like, for example, when Chris came to Brian basically looking for a way out and looking to kind of lean into to me his passive aggressive ways. Brian, instead of doing kind of what we saw like with Ace and Taylor being like an echo chamber for nonsense, I loved how Brian always leaned into positivity. And as a man doing that for another man, I really like to see how he always encouraged him. He was very encouraging, and vice versa. I think Amaya did a really, really good job trying to, be there for the girls and Huda, but also try to highlight where they could fix things. And seeing people not be an echo chamber of nonsense was refreshing, because I feel like so many people in the village just told people, what they wanted to hear. And I love how they were very supportive. And then I also just think just some of the dates were really nice. I think all of the dates, of course, mine is Huda and Chris was horrible, but the whole dates were just really nice. And so it was really nice to see the positivity. Yeah. And Mel, if you comment on my blackness, you're going to get blocked. That's your last warning. Thank you. Continue. Sorry, Sean. It's going to be a short string with people commenting on my blackness. That's what we're not going to do. Black people commenting on other people's blackness because they disagree is weird. You know what I mean? Like, everybody has their own experience and feelings on things. So,
yeah, I think that's something, a worthy topic. You and I had a conversation about this earlier, right? It was either yesterday or today. But I just feel like this is something that we got to talk about. And this is what I love about this channel. We talk about deep things. We talk about fun things. We talk about light things. But I think something worth talking about is how we find ways to and it's us as Black people in general, you know what I mean? Like, we can disagree with each other, but we don't have to find ways to rip each other apart for what we are or what we aren't. The world does that enough. There's enough globally going on where Black people have to worry about, well, we shouldn't be ripped apart about our Blackness unless we're clearly saying something that is against our Blackness, right? But I think, like, if we want to support somebody, you want to be like, I don't call you like a full-fledged hood rat, like, but you are Huda adjacent. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not all the way in there. You know what I'm saying? And I think, like, that's okay. We talk about it all the time. Yeah, but I don't, it's like, I think we just need to relax. Let's take a collective breath. Because we do block people around here very, very quickly, and you're gonna miss the plot, because the plot gets missed when you focus on something that's not even to be focused on. Now, if you don't want to like Huda for your own reasons, then you don't like Huda, right? And you want to talk about why you don't like her or the things you've seen her done, then that's fine. But making it about somebody being Black or this or that, I think that's just a lazy argument. Okay, well, unfortunately, she's blocked, so there's that.
People think my warnings are like for kicks and gigs. We can all disagree. Commenting on my Blackness, though, is where
it's like crazy, because they want to, like, you want to start stringing together things that don't need to be strung together. It's like, now you're making it about something that it's not.
But so many people, honestly, and this is a good segue, I've seen a lot of that kind of echo chamber on TikTok for sure. In places where people have made these like blanket statements. If you like Huda, you're abusive, or if you like Huda, you're anti-Black, or if you like, or if you don't like Chelly, you're anti-Black, or if you think Chelly and Ace should have got out the show, you're anti-Black. It really just feels like people are this show is supposed to be fun, but people have kind of extrapolated just a lot of things from it, when the whole point of Love Island is to look at the people, look at the things, look at the stories, and everybody is going to relate to something different. But unfortunately, to me, for clicks and views and a lot of things, people have made so much of this stuff about race. And to Baby Love's point, I'm usually the person who says everything is about race. But some things ain't about race. Sometimes, I mean, yes, race is intertwined in everything a part of our society. So I don't want to say it's not in everything. Race and colorism and all the things are undercurrent in everything. But, you know, people try to overlook all of the things, for example, that Ace did. And then by proxy or by proximity, Chelly did by being associated with Ace. And then when people wanted them gone, they're like, people hate black people. Black people hate black people. It's like folks have lost the plot. They've completely lost the plot. There's a lot of other things going on in this show.
Yeah, and I'm with you on that. I think ultimately too, it's like if there's something that's sitting inside of you, don't look for a chance of a show to let that thing come out about you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like people talking about, like, I seen some people in the comments in the afterlives that I had to delete, you know, talking about black people not this, black people don't have that, you know, even talking about what happened with Jalissa and how she got kicked off, and then people, you know, using that as a way to, you know, say like, oh, black people shouldn't be using the word themselves, so what's the big deal? All of that stuff, it's like, get yourself healed and fixed. You know what I'm saying? Like, before you start lashing out on others, get yourself healed and fixed. You know, somebody might have a different opinion than you. Somebody might like somebody that you don't like. There's no need for you to start taking stuff internally and start spewing at them. You know what I'm saying?
I think there needs to be a psychological experiment done on the people on Love Island and then the people watching Love Island. For example, someone brought up in the comments the George Floyd thing. I need everybody to really, people are saying Huda needs to get evaluated. Some of y'all need to get evaluated because you guys, some of these people are blaming Huda for something that her fans did that she doesn't even know she has. Newsflash, y'all. Huda, Alandria, Nick, none of these people know they have fans. They don't know what they're thinking of them. They have nothing to do with these fans that have made this stuff. So I'm so confused. What those crazy people did at this juncture has nothing to do with Huda. Huda can't come out here and say, don't make that picture. She doesn't have a phone. Like, are y'all cool? I'm starting to think some of these people aren't cool. The same psychological experiment they done did on the people in the house, they doing on the people watching it. Because people have now associated that the fans that made that absolutely insane and horrific graphic has anything to do with Huda, who doesn't have any access to the outside world. She can't even talk to her kids, but you think she has something to do with that graphic? It's weird.
Now, I think what's important is, like, now once she gets on the inside, once she gets on the outside world, you know, and she sees some of the things her fans are doing, what's the stance, how she handles that? Because, right, you know, just like, you know, any group of people, you can influence your fans to do certain things or not. You know, you set the tone once you're aware. But to your point, 100%, she is, you know, 100% not responsible for anything they're doing in present day. You know, so I just think, you know, we just need to take it easy. We need to relax. Old girl Clark got a lot of hate. You know, I saw somebody put that in the comment. That was true too. It's like, I think we need to be easy. Just like take a collective breath, touch some grass, you know, and just take deep breaths and let our oxygen levels get regulated before we start responding and clicking and typing. You know, it's like, just take it easy. You know, you can have a thought, but you don't got to type everything you think. You don't have to, you know, it doesn't have to be like this verbal vomit, you know, on the keyboard. And I think that's super important, you know, just for us to kind of, you know, like this kind of space, especially where we're thinking folks over here, you know, and we have many disagreements, but, you know, it don't have to get too crazy and chaotic. So, you know, I just want to set the tone a little bit before we move forward, you know, in our coverage. Just, you know, let's be lighthearted. Let's have some fun about this. You know, feel free to disagree, but let's keep the personal attacks, you know, in our heads, if we even have them to dole out. So we can kind of go through each couple a little bit and maybe talk through their journey. Yeah. You know, I think Iris and Pepe, listen, they look just happy to be in the room. They look as shocked as all of us that they're there. They're like, we just happy to be here. You know what I'm saying? We know we shouldn't be here. And I think the other thing is that let us not forget that this is a produced show. These producers are playing with our emotions. You know what I'm saying? They are playing with our emotions. And if production wanted Chelly and Ace to be in the finale, trust and believe they would be there. They would be there. And if production wanted Huda and Chris to win, they would have won. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I don't even know if production could have saved that one, but they would have tried.
Well, production had to pivot because it was like these two, they can't even make it to the finale.
Like, not y'all trying to break up.
They're like, wait a second, we wanted to stress America out just a little bit more, but y'all.
Production tried it though, because out of all the dates, you gonna give them the sit down date in the middle of some water. You know when people beefing, you give them an activity. You don't give them a sit down date where they ain't got nothing but wine and arguments.
We got to look eye to eye with each other, and we're confined on a little mini island in the middle of a pool.
Oh yeah, but let's not start with them because we're gonna get back tussling. Okay, so Iris and Pepe. Okay, let me say this. Pepe represents. Abby F up.
I was having a Huda moment with Abby.
Exactly. Don't do my knees. Okay, y'all. So I personally feel like Pepe really represents just a guy I think that so many men can relate to. He's chill. He's not messy. When he has an issue, he's direct. He don't bother nobody. He just be slinging that thing and talking to, you know, his preference, which seems to be white women with blonde hair. He don't bother nobody. And so I think Pepe really did a good job of just being chill. And honestly, Iris also doesn't bother anybody. She's chill. You know, they were a cute, bland couple. They didn't really give us anything. But I also thought they were a good example of people just happy to be in the room and not problematic. And so I definitely feel like I'm not a man, but I'm going to try to speak for a man, but you'll tell me if I'm wrong. But I just think Pepe was just a very relatable, just guy's guy. I mean, he really was just, to me, an easy guy to kind of relate to. And so I understand why he kind of made it on the show so long, because he really didn't bother nobody. Yeah, they both definitely stayed in their lane. What did you think?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think they just coasted along. You know, I call Pepe the pipe slayer. If there's anything he gonna do, he gonna find a blonde and he gonna lay into her. Because 48 hours later, Iris is talking about "you're my best friend." I was like, okay.
All right, Iris.
All right, Iris. She's a pretty girl, though. I'm not gonna front. You know, I know some folks not into the clear people, but at the end of the day, she's a pretty girl. I'm not gonna say.
And that her last dress was tea. That the white. I knew Iris was cool when she had grace for. Wasn't she the one who had grace for Huda after all that crazy stuff happened, and then she saved her? Yeah,
because they thought Huda was going to get the mollywhopping her. The guys was following her. And, you know, she was like real easygoing. So, yeah, I do like her.
Yeah, that's when I knew. That's when I knew she was cool, because she seems to have like, she never leaned into narratives or bullying or things like that. She seemed to have a lot of grace for wherever people were. Like, she met people where they were and had grace for them. And I was like, people who know how to meet you where you're at and have grace for you really are typically really good people. And so from that moment when she did that, I was like, okay, Iris is cool. Iris is really, really cool. She seems like she's an easygoing girl, and Pepe is the easygoing guy. And what can you really say? What can you really say? And you know what? People give a lot of grace to a lot of these dudes that don't deserve. I should say, I see a lot of women praising a lot of these men to me that don't deserve it. Pepe, every single time he had to actually express himself and be direct, he was direct but kind. And that is when I realized I had a lot of respect for Pepe. He was direct but kind with Grayson. He was direct but kind with telling Adrina that he wasn't right, that he wasn't into her. I think, wasn't it Adrina? Yeah.
Grayson.
It was Grayson, but who else?
Oh yeah, yeah, he did low key friend zone Andrina. Yeah, he sure did.
Yes, I liked how Pepe never dragged his feet, and he just kind of like his yeses were his yeses and his no's were his no's. And I think that's a sign of a good man, or at least a man that I can tolerate as a person. I'm not gonna say he's a perfect man, but I like how he was always direct and didn't, piss around the bush. So yeah, cool with me.
That's a good point. Unfortunately, Grayson doesn't feel that way because she was she could not understand. She was like, "What? He doesn't like me? Are you kidding?" Like, it just didn't resonate for her. But I think everybody needs a humbling lesson. Sometimes you need to get that lesson. You're not going to be for everybody. Exactly. Grayson, it's okay. It's okay.
Exactly.
And TJ, I've seen a couple of his TikToks. He is like, well, at least I had camping, because everybody keeps telling him that Pepe and Iris then had a moment. Not only did Pepe not stand behind him and stood behind Taylor, now him and Hannah are riding off into the sunset. So let's see. I don't know. What do you think? And maybe we'll do this for each couple too. Like, predictions. Do you think they're gonna fare outside in the real world? Like, do you think this is gonna go into something?
No. I definitely feel like they're gonna be cool. I don't think there's gonna be any beef. But I think it's more so on Pepe's end. I think Pepe's always gonna be respectful and cool while he's in your vicinity. He just seems a bit detached to me, like emotionally, not like to the point where it was obvious, but he just doesn't seem, I don't know if he's ready to fully invest himself like that. I still feel a bit of a wall with him. I can't put my finger on it. And I don't know if that wall is because of Hannah, if he's still thinking about Hannah, if that wall is because he's not, he had mentioned I remember his conversation when he was like, he was a jack of all trades and what if this, what if that? He seems like he has a lot of things going on in his head just about his life and his career and what he could be. I don't want to say as far as he's troubled, but he seems to be, I don't know, it seems to be a bit of heaviness with him, and I just can't put my finger on it. And so I don't know what he's going to do. I don't know if it's Hannah. I don't know if it's his life or, whatever. I do think him and Iris, regardless, have a good friendship. And so I think they'll be cool. People think he's going to pursue Hannah. It could be Hannah and it could just be his life. I don't know. From how impulsive Hannah seems to me, is she done seen a couple of clips of him and Iris. She probably done doubled back. Maybe her and Charlie will give it a go. Because remember, she was boo-hooing for Charlie. I know.
She got
out of those. She basically said that Charlie was being the F-boy. Like, Charlie was basically till the very end, he switched up. It was like, yeah, go be with Pepe. Like, he was being weird.
Oh, once he left the villa?
Yeah, like towards the end. Like, she didn't really know that Charlie liked her like that because he was kind of pushing her off into maybe like the very end. And so, yeah, they say, I think Hannah's like good on Charlie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess let's see. Because who else? So it was Hannah. So it was just Hannah and Iris then, right? Was he with anybody else?
No, that was it.
Okay. Yeah. So listen, if him and Iris don't work out, maybe him and Hannah have a shot at it, have a good go at it.
He really did seem like he seemed more connected with Hannah. He seemed like he had a better friendship and overall like mature relationship with Iris. And so I just don't know which one he's going to go with, He really did rock with Hannah though, heavy.
Yeah, he seemed to be in all his feels. And he was just with Grayson to just hold on to her, just to hold on to his spot.
Yeah.
And he was like, listen, this, I don't want to drag this. I don't want to drag you on enough any longer.
Yeah.
So let's see. Who else? So we got, there's one couple down, three more to go. We got Nicolandria, Amaya, Pepe, and Huda and Chris. Maybe we'll save Huda and Chris to the last or second to last. Okay. So maybe we'll go Nicolandria. So, I mean, listen, I'm of two minds when it comes between the two of them.
Okay, spill it. I feel like we need to bring up a Nicolandria stand for this one because I don't think neither one of us are equipped.
I'm not. So, is there a Nicolandria fan that is willing to come up? Listen, y'all seen the last few lives. I'm not into all the chaos. So, if you could come in, chit chat, not be over talking, hold your point of view, be respectful, you're more than welcome to come up. So if you want to come up, let me know. I'll drop the link. But it's late in the midnight hour, and I am not finna be dealing with all the chaos. I'm sorry. Get somebody. What's that gift? Get somebody else to do it. Not gonna be me.
I feel like neither one of us are big Nicolandria people. So I feel like people in the audience who are going to be a little triggered. I mean, they did look like they had a cute little moment. I feel like the whole message in the bottle stuff was BS. I don't know why people are telling them. I mean, they're not lying. There is a group of people who really were big Nicolandria people. It just wasn't me. So, look, Sade says she's a.
Oh, that's right. That is Sade. Okay, let me go into here now. Sade, you was in here before. I just need you to take it down. You were good, but I just need you to take it down 2 more notches for me so that we can all be on one good accord. Just 2 notches, Sade. That's all I ask.
I'm screaming.
I'm gonna put the link in the chat now.
Look, this is for Sade and Sade only. I'm hungry.
Oh man, this link isn't working right. Hold on. I gotta go back here.
Okay, so
where's Kojo when you need him?
Terry said, I'm probably saying your name wrong. I'm sorry. I thought some of the messages and speeches were a little bit too sentimental for Love Island. Yeah, I start skipping through them, but I'm known for that. I think a lot of you guys are maybe new to the channel, so y'all may not know. I'm a skip through queen. Especially when you start all that crying and start all that sentimental stuff, I'm a skip. I did my best not to skip through it. I swear I did my best. But they were sending me to the moon. They really, really were. Kojo got it, or was that you?
No, it was me. Oh, okay. All right. So the link is in there.
Sade a lawyer too?
No, but I don't think so.
Oh, she's the advocate for Nicolandria.
And remember, I said that I would want her to be on my defense team.
Oh yeah, no, when she was confusing the jury. No, she was just. I mean, she would be a great defense attorney because she was confusing the hell out the jury.
All right, Sade, welcome.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I was on my phone last time. I'm on my phone again, but I'm going to try to whisper. Africans were naturally loud voices. I get it from my mom.
No, you don't. You can talk whatever volume works for you.
How are you guys doing?
We're great.
Good. What did you think about the Nicolandria part of this episode?
There's a lot of feels. I think that the producers probably saw that there is a large following for them. So I think the date was very thoughtful because, as we saw, not the rest of the couples didn't get the same date. I mean, obviously from past seasons as well, the dates aren't always the same. I've only watched 2 seasons, so let me preface it with that. And from watching last season and this season, they changed a lot of things up. So I think that also probably interfered with how couples, got together, and then the framework and things like that. I do want to preface it to say, I'm going to try to keep it short. Sorry, I don't want to monopolize time. But I do want to probably say for the people that say it's forced, it's production, force them together. During Casa, Ariana, I already said this before, but Ariana made it very clear that everyone would be returning back from Casa. So the eliminations of Alandria and Nick were not supposed to ever leave the villa. Like, she was very careful with her words, and she also said it again in After Sun. So again, it could have been Amaya and TJ who were left coupleless that first time, and they were eliminated, and they would have also had an opportunity to couple up or leave the island. So I think it's very important for people that are saying it's forced, production forced it. No, we also have to realize the personalities of Olandria and Nick. Nick is clearly goofy. Olandria, on the other end, she only cried twice this season, when she lost Chelly and when she was reading the letters for her sister. She didn't even cry when she saw her mom. The girl is very reserved because she is an older sister. So I think you guys have to give grace to people's personalities and also how they show up if they're in new situations. Nick was saying he had dark times. I'm like, when did you have dark times? But that's his journey. So the dates were very lovely. I think that they needed that encouragement to know people are supporting them, because they've only been together for less than 7 days. I think Sierra left last Sunday. So for them, it's less than 7 days because, or maybe it is, I don't know. I'm trying to think about the time delay or whatever it is. So they're a very new, fresh couple. And Olandria is not a physical person. She already said that she's a slow burner. So I feel like it's very important when people are like, it's forced, I don't see it, it's friendship. They've said it many times. They didn't even know, Olandria didn't even know he liked her like that. And she said she tried to stay away from the messiness of his love triangle. So I feel like it's important to make those notes when you think about how she shows up and how he shows up. I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was lovely that they were able to see that encouragement from their quote unquote fans or supporters. And those are real messages, because I've seen people say those exact same things on TikTok. Again, this show is what made me go to TikTok. I didn't have a TikTok account before last month. So I thought it was beautiful. The girl's makeup was running, but she kept it cute. And I don't know, I liked their interaction. To your guys' point, I did see a bit of more so platonic friendship, glimpses of that, because I thought they were still unsure. Because Amaya and Brian, I think, are on the same timetable. But of course, we saw that they were a little bit more sexual and more physical with each other than Alandria and Nick. So I could see some awkwardness, but I feel like it makes sense because they've known each other longer, and it might be harder to kind of get into that groove because of Sierra, because of Taylor. These are close friends of each of them. So I can account for that awkwardness based off of those interactions or friendships. That's it.
All right, listen, Sade gonna give us a deep dive breakdown, so we love it. We love it. Thank you. Look, the two minds of, I want to believe it. Everything that Sade just shared in terms of their connection, how they build, Alandria, being more reserved, a little guarded, shall we say, all the things, but really a good person. Yeah, I see that. And Nick really liking her. I hope that's the case. You know what I'm saying? I really do hope that's the case. He does seem to be a little bit, more boyish. He tones himself down. So if he truly is, as men, sometimes when we see a woman that we want and she puts boundaries, we will step up to the plate and perhaps, do things a little bit outside of our norm to make it work with that person. Yeah, I hope that's the case, but he also is going to want to have to make those changes for himself, and seeing that for his long-term, growth, those are things worthy of him stepping into. Now, if he's just playing a role to get to a particular goal, I'm not with it. And that's what I still, I just don't see how he just did a 180 so quickly. Now, I get that we want to believe the fairy tale. I understand that. We want to see a beautiful Black woman treated the right way. I get it. But I also can't go fully diving into the delusion that this is just romance at first sight either. So those are my thoughts.
Yeah, my thoughts are like him toning down. A lot of times men will step up to get with the women that they want. And so if I really thought that he was being, super sincere, I wouldn't think nothing wrong with that. I just feel like even to Alandria, I think she's very hesitant with him. I think it's beyond her being reserved. I think she's probably not sure how it's being received. And so maybe that's why the messages in the bottle were nice. Like, oh, okay, America is not hating me for going this route, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, but at the end of the day, I don't really feel like she sees it for him. I don't think Nick really sees it for her. I'm not saying they're being fake. I think they're both trying, but I don't think it's there. And I also what got me is the family members saying, "Oh yeah, we love Nick for you." What about Nick do you love for her? I don't know. That's the part that lost me. You love Nick for her? What about him? And then the date itself just felt like a giant size photo op. Even more than the other dates. The other day, every date had a photo op to it, I guess, to some degree, but it was just I'm just I don't know. I don't want to drag it. I don't want to drag it.
I have questions.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Okay, Sean, you said he did a 180. What do you mean by that? What was the 180?
Lord. So in the beginning, when he was with Sierra and even when he was with Bella, he was a very sexual person, He had 25 seconds for Sierra and then 40 seconds on the next round, and seemed to be very, very lustful. His name is Frico Nico. That's his nickname. So now to be with Alandria, who is a slow burner, who takes her time, who really doesn't rush into intimacy, doesn't like kissing outside of the challenges. That's what I'm saying. Like now he went from being a very, very overtly sexual guy on the island, and now he's with her and he's being toned down and forced to, really operate in different confines of Alandria. So that's the 180 I'm talking about.
Okay, thank you for answering that. So I didn't, again, this is my second season. So the first season, all them dudes were overtly, even Cordell, that was really like, he was stuck on Serena. This is last season. So I think the premise of the show, I'm sure you guys already know, for those that may not know, I'm just going to explain it. The premise of the show is to explore, is to kiss as many people. For me, that's disgusting. However, apparently they're like, oh, there's, Listerine on deck, etc., to kind of clear up, and they get tested for STDs, all these things. But for me, it's weird. However, that's the premise of the show, to be as exploratory physically as well as conversationally. So I think that's what Olandria's mom was alluding to, which was like, he did it the right way, he explored, and then he realized he wanted you. Now, that's why Alandria she also made that very clear. She was like, I didn't, he was doing a lot. He drank the milk and that milk challenge or whatever it is. So it also freaked her out. But I think Nick even said he was surprised. He only brought enough clothes to say 6 days. Like he really didn't think he was going to last long. So he did not take this experience seriously, in the sense of he thought he was going to find someone that he could really mesh with, or he would really admire. I don't think that speaks to necessarily his character. I think that speaks to the fact that he's 24. Sorry, he's 24. I think I said he was 25 before, but he's a 24-year-old man. It's not, they're not getting married. I keep saying that because I want to make sure that we understand, even in the world of, there are 24-year-olds that get married, but it's not a real expectation to be fully ready to take on a serious committed relationship. Ace is apparently, according to him, and he's younger, but I feel like expectations need to be managed and just take the experience or the entertainment of this show for what it is. And I feel like with Sierra, he wasn't even trying to sleep with her. He said he was confused when that happened. He was surprised. So if ladies are throwing themselves at him, and not to say he's anything to be thrown at, but if ladies are doing that, he's not necessarily going to reject them if he's interested, or if he's trying to, enjoy the experience. And I'm not trying to compare it to other people because, everyone has their journey, everyone has their preferences. But thank you for explaining that. And I feel like with Nick, like it is, you accept it for what it is. It's up to Alandria. Are you okay if this is a behavior that he continues to do, if you guys want to start something or not? But the way he's responded to her, I can say like, I can, appreciate that candor. Like, I feel like he did step up to be a little bit more toned down. And his mom made that comment. He made that comment. So he's receptive of kind of toning it down, if that makes sense. And I wanted to ask Cecily what she meant about her family. Now they're approving of Nick or something like that. I don't know if they said they approve of Nick. I think they just said they like him. I don't know if her mom said that she likes him for him. I don't know, but they like him.
They said they really like him for her. But yeah, what was the question other than that? Yeah, they said they really liked him for her.
Was it the sisters or the mom that said that?
Well, that was when I was in my skipping ministry, but they were, it was one of them.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was asking. I don't think I heard the mom say, I like him for you. I know she said that she really likes him.
Listen, we're not going to even give any merit to any of these things these parents said, because these producers got up in these parents' ear. Listen, I'm new to Love Island. This is my first full season. I watched a little bit of season 6, but not like enough to whatever. But I'm not paying anything these parents are saying on national TV to their kids, because I want to know what they said when they got home and they had a real conversation that wasn't produced. Because ain't nobody going to get on TV and be like, yo, that person is a mess. Don't you dare. They're not going to do that. You know what I'm saying? That's going to mess up the voting. That's going to jack up everything. So the parents are going to be nice, respectful. Please. There's all types of think pieces about Chris's parents and his mom and his sister and what they didn't say and should have said. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, ain't nobody telling the truth. So
that gives me more perspective. If you've only seen this season and not seen previous seasons, then I can definitely see where you guys are coming from as far as like, is Nick a great match for Alandria? And I feel like it would make sense because Love Island culture is very slutty, like boys and girls. I mean, literally Chelly and Alandria are the only ones that didn't sleep with you.
Shade, I love you to pieces. You don't have to come off mute either, because we're just having a back and forth banter. Yeah, listen, I love y'all down. I appreciate y'all people, but I need y'all to stop telling me I need to watch 20,000 seasons to understand the show. No, I get it. What I'm saying, my point is, if he was evenly matched with Sierra, who was down for the overly freaked out foolishness that he was doling out. But he is now with Olandria, who is not like that. So that's why I'm saying, I think, is he really being his true self with Olandria? Has he changed? Is he willing to curtail his activity to make, because they're trying to make a relationship work. The whole goal, it is Love Island, right? So you want to make love happen to some capacity. But is he willing to do that on the outside world, or is he just saying the things that are going to get Alandria pulled in? That's where my hesitancy comes from.
Okay. No, I'm not saying you should watch it, because I'm not. There's too many episodes in a season. Last season wore me out, and so did this one. So I do not recommend anyone watches past seasons. It's not for the faint of heart. I'm saying that you would understand the culture of it. Because to your point, to your exact question, is he ready to? Cordell did. So did what is Leah's boyfriend's name? Cordell and Serena. Cordell did. He played around.
Miguel, I believe, no?
Miguel, exactly. So both of them did their stuff. They did different women. They did, the little freaky stuff. I don't know if they had sex specifically, but I know they freaked around with other people. And then they settled in, and here we are. People are different, so I'm not trying to compare, like different guys or what have you. I'm just giving you a case study example of what people do in the island. They do all these explorings, and then they come back to the person that they actually want to be, and they settle in. And again, to that point, because it could be definitely unique and sporadic, because past seasons have not seen successful couples that are still together. Only 5 are together, and 3 of them are from last season. So it's a very low number of successful relationships outside the villa. So that's why I approach it with a very carefree mindset of, it's not that serious. I don't think that their actions within the villa speak to their complete character, because it allows for a little bit of debauchery.
You're very conservative in your life, but then you come on a TV show where the whole entire possibly globe is watching, and you are comfortable being overly freaked out, but you're good at being, you know, very calm in relationships. I don't think so.
Well, talk to Miguel. How did he do it? Talk to Cordell. How did he do it?
We ain't talking about them. We're talking about Nick, and then we're talking about Alondria, who is somebody. Even her own family said, "I'm proud of you. How you stuck to your, you know, your morals. You're making us proud." You know what I'm saying? Like even Olandria's family, there are people that did that. Ace, we know Ace and Chelly went to the hideaway. They never did anything, or at least they didn't show it. You get, and Ace said when he got back, he said, "I didn't fold." So you can control yourself. You don't have to be overly freaked out. And at the end of the day, Nick's name is Frico Nico.
Frico Nico. No, you're right. You're absolutely
we got one more
right.
person I see in the background. Let's see who this is too. But you can go ahead and respond, Shade.
No, you're absolutely right. I see every side of it. And I forgot the point I was going to say. I just was going to say that it's possible. It's possible for Nick to refrain from that. And I think give him grace. He said he's been in love twice, which is a red flag for me at 24. So again, I see you guys' side. If they walk down the aisle together, I'll be looking at her sideways. However, I'll support it. Because my point is that I don't think that'll learn. Well, actually, let me backtrack.
Why? I just want to know, Sade, why are you giving Nick so much grace? Are you looking out for Olandria's best interest, your sister? Are you looking? We should be giving her somebody that's going to treat her really well, like the queen.
He has been consistently treating her really well. That's my point. He has been consistently treating her. He hasn't given any red flags to you guys prior to them getting together. Those are red flags. But he's not mistreating these women. I mean, Sierra didn't come out and say, "Oh, you dog this, that." It's the name of the game in Love Island is to explore multiple connections. That's the name of the game. He didn't do anyone dirty. My point is that he's not two-faced, because I think someone mentioned, and maybe you, I don't know, please forgive me, but how he's like, oh, he's with Huda, and then he's trying to vote her off the next second. He was very clear with Huda. I want you out of here. However, I'm going to be a caring, supporting ear to you, but I'm not going to lie to you. He's very careful with his words. We've like done case studies. Nicolandrians know the edits and stuff. This man speaks very specifically to these girls. He does not lie to them. He does not lead them on. He's very specific. So if he's careful with his words, not to put out compliments or certain promises or lead them on in a certain way, but he is with Olandria, he doesn't have a reason to switch up in that sense. And his mom confirmed it. Not to say, his mom has all the credibility in the world, but like, I feel like there's a certain level of facade that you can only keep up for so much. If he has, I'll concede. If he does her dirty, I'll 100% concede. I'll be like, oh, I'm wrong. My radar's wrong. We all wrong. Like Nicolandrian fans, we got it wrong. Shame on us. But so far, the man hasn't done anything that's worthy of us saying, oh, he's gonna do her dirty, or he's a horrible guy. So far, he's been treating her like a queen. There she is.
Shade, God bless you.
I'm gonna say one more thing, and then I'm gonna rest my case. I watched an edit.
How to get Jeff up here because my screen is acting up. So go ahead.
Okay, I watched an edit of Nick. Pretty much said during the Thanksgiving or Friendsgiving dinner, he said, "I hate cooking," along with Brian. He said, "I hate cooking." And Brian was like, "I hate cooking too." Then it flashes to Nick with whipping up stuff in the kitchen for Alondria. And then during the basketball game, he was like, I love taking care of her. I'm going to make sure those pancake edges are crispy. And then you also see this dude jumping through edges as he's cooking again for her on another meal. Multiple meals, we see him cooking for this lady. When he was with Sierra, she was like, oh, Elon cuts, season my pancakes. That was and so Nick was like, okay, challenge accepted. But that was the crustiest cut of a C I've ever seen in them. It was, the edges were horrible. It was like here, it was like he was just throwing it at her basically because it was ugly. But he's very pristine with how he treats Olandria. We're catching it. Olandrians, we're investigators and we're catching it. That's it. I rest.
Yeah, I think he has a lot of respect for Alandria, like you respect your mother. I think he respects her. So if that's what you're noticing, he perhaps he respects her more than he respects Sierra, who put that thing on him just to try to keep from being eliminated. So yes, I definitely feel like Alandria commands more respect. I don't think that means that there's a connection there. So maybe we can rest there and perhaps move on because that's all I really see. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. Who? So next we have. I guess we'll save Amaya Papaya for the end since they won, and we'll go to Huda and Chris, the highly contested, highly debated Huda and Chris. And Seaway, since you are Huda adjacent, I'll let you kick it off while I try to navigate this other part of the screen back here.
Yeah, I'm checking in from Huda HQ, but I'm gonna try to be as objective here as possible, so my blackness does not get questioned as it did moments ago. This is what I will say. Chris and Huda just aren't a match. We can start there. I think unfortunately because Huda has done things on this in the villa and has kind of had her moments and people have made up their opinions. Some people, not all, some people have refused to kind of see what was going on here. And I think this is one of those things where multiple things can be true at the same time. And so I really want everybody just to put on their listening ears and try to listen to understand and put aside their own opinions. And then maybe we can get to a place of understanding. And okay, so I just wanted to lay that groundwork. I think Huda has her problems that we all know. She needs a lot of attention. She doesn't really listen. She kind of responds before. Don't try to. I'm just gonna ignore the comments so I can talk. She did kind of responds before really listening. I think she's also was very traumatized from the Jeremiah situation in the house, and I think that has affected her in ways that maybe she can't really quantify. And then now she meets Chris, who personally I don't think she really likes anywhere near how much she liked Jeremiah. I think she really, really liked Jeremiah. I don't think she liked Chris as much, but I do think that she was trying to work it out with Chris. And Chris, unfortunately, I knew from the moment that the girlies clocked that perhaps he was, house hunting and house jumping, that he wasn't really 100% right, but I really didn't want to see it yet because I thought at first he was being very patient and very kind, but Chris actually is very passive aggressive and underhanded and not direct, and that is not a good combination for Huda. Chris hit Huda in the face with the pillow on purpose. She gets mad that she got hit in her nose. He rolls his eyes. Chris wanted to vacate the relationship multiple times, prayed that his family told him no, went to Brian praying that he told him no. All these people tell him no, like you should try to work it out. Then Chris proceeds to go to the date, pretend as if he wanted to work it out with Huda, only knowing that he's praying that she breaks up with him. Praying that she broke up with him. Then when she actually does break up with him, he pretends as if he is heartbroken. I tell you, ladies, if you want to punch down on Huda because you think she's crazy, you're missing the plot. The plot is stay away from men like Chris, because Chris is going to drive you effing crazy. That man is diabolical for his passive aggressive ways. Then after he carried her because she has heels on and there's rocks and she could break her ankle, he says, I am not carrying you. What a terrible man. I understand. I understand that Huda was gentle parenting and getting on his nerves when they were sleeping. But I need you guys to keep in mind that he also was ignoring her, pretending that he wasn't sleeping. That is, yes, sassy, Crystal, but I'm not allowed to say that isn't on this channel anymore, so I'm trying not to call the men sassy because we're going to distract them with that word. We don't want to use that word because we don't want to distract them from our point. But if the shoe fits, we can let them wear it. Okay? So I'm actually really glad that, you know, Huda is grown. I don't know if you're a man, but you're not the type of man that I would want. My husband was appalled. My husband, who's a man, was literally appalled when he said, you should let her walk. Any man that would say that is not much of a man at all. There were rocks and she was in 4-inch heels. He could have helped her across the water, carried her or something. He was being nasty. Point blank period. He was being nasty. So, I mean, two things can be true. You guys cannot like the way Huda shows up on the island. You can have your issues with Huda. But I also have issues. I also have issues with the way this stuff was handled. And I think if Chris would have been more obvious and honest about his feelings and would have just said that he had issues with Huda from the moment where he didn't really felt like he got any, I don't know, reconciliation from the kiss thing. But here's another thing. Chris must be a Leo Virgo man because the way he outed to the villa that he was smacking cheeks but couldn't get no kiss in public, I clocked his teeth in because I understood his feelings, but he wanted everybody in the villa to know that he was clapping cheeks, but she wouldn't kiss him in public. That's when I knew that he had the potential to be a little sassy because I was like, why are you telling the villa that you were clapping cheeks? Whatever. Huda doesn't have self-awareness. She lacks a lot of self-awareness, and I really, really do hope that when she looks back on this, the clips, she kind of sees where she lacks self-awareness. And I definitely feel like there's a lot of growth there. But I was also really, really disappointed in Chris, and I'm just gonna put that out there. And so I'll stop there, and I'll let y'all go.
Well, I see Jeff is in the house, so Jeff, welcome aboard.
Hey, Sean. I was just listening to the chaos that Shada was talking about. I'm trying my utmost best to shut my mouth, but she was. I was getting triggered.
She was stressing you out a little bit. It's okay. See, her heart's in the right place, you know. So, you know, everybody, you know, we've all been there, you know. So, what you thinking about the Chris and Huda of it all?
What to say? I mean, all right. Huda, she comes across as very emotionally guarded and insecure to me. I mean, she was often shut down emotionally when Chris expressed affection or asked for deeper connection. Then, to me, she just seemed to be using a whole lot of deflection and sarcasm as defense mechanism, you know, like, because I think she admitted during the final she didn't feel worthy of love, saying, like, I don't even know how to feel love properly. So, okay. And that, to me, would tell me, oh, that's how she's going to really show up in her treatment of Chris. I mean, even when things got serious, she often resorted to just shutting down instead of engaging. So I can understand why Chris would behave the way he behaved. I'm not saying that it's right, but I think Huda, she basically partly led the whole demise of the relationship, self-sabotaging. Like, as for Chris, I mean, you can make a case he was more emotionally consistent and communicative, though oversharing. Like, I don't understand why you have to go out and start telling other people you clapping cheeks like that. So Seaway's point, I get that. But at least he communicated his feelings to her, that even though it was hard, he did say, I don't feel like I received anything back, expressing how one-sided the relationship had become. Well, that should let him know that she don't really like you like that. If Huda is really being guarded with you, and the premise of Love Island is to make a connection, that should let you know that she don't really like you like that. So that's what I think about that, to be honest. But I'll say this. It was more entertaining, and at least the dynamics were a lot more interesting to watch and less painful than having to see Nick literally be faking it with Nicolandria. But hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, Jeff. We just have to be easy on the Nicolandria of it all as Black men. A lot of folks are, they're saying we don't want to see a Black woman treated well, or it triggers us when we see sisters with white men. So we just immediately hate on it. So, we gotta make sure that we're not being biased. Listen, I don't want to be, I don't want to make light. I do know that exists. I know that there are a population of men that do start as soon as a Black woman gets with a white guy, or there's that potential, that we get up in arms. That's not me.
Hey, listen. If you want to do interracial, listen, I'm cool with it. Find your love, boo boo. Find your love. If you like it, we love it. I just question the authenticity of it. There is no way that type of lustful energy that Nick is carrying. You meaning to tell me that lustful energy and somehow it's just automatically just going to change just like that at the drop of a dime with Olandra? Which, yes, have your standards, boo boo. Maintain that. I will never say no.
Not the boo boo,
but just the fakeness. The fakeness. And I thought one was fake from like this guy. Nah, this one is a whole level of inauthentic. Nah. And I'm just saying, Olandra, you can do better than that. Don't fall for the trap. Don't fall for the okie doke. The guy is in it for the money. He was in it for the money. And I'm like, there is no way. That's all I'm just trying to say.
Gotcha. Yeah, so for all those listening, if you're in the comments or in the replay, Jeff and I, we support and we love Black women. We just want to see y'all with the right guy, no matter what color he shows up as. That's my only reservations, and Jeff just said it out of his own mouth. Those are his. But back to the Huda and Chris of it all. Shade, you've been quiet. What you got to say about these two?
I'm trying to be demure. I'm just joking.
Oh, hell.
Not you trying to have a Huda redemption arc.
I know, right? I just want to represent for my Nicolandrians. We see each other. I'm not going to speak on it anymore because I rested, but I am going to speak for the fact that I love the community of Nicolandrians. Honestly, I feel like we're the happiest, funnest, giddiest, loyal investigators like I've ever been a part of as far as like online community. Again, they got me to go on TikTok. I've never been. I'm not interested because I feel like it's chaotic over there.
Objection, Your Honor. This is not relevant.
Okay, sorry.
All roads with today clearly lead to.
All right, let's go back. Let's go back to Huda. Apologies. Guys,
Order in the court. Where's my gavel?
Sorry. Okay, so to the Chris and Huda, I definitely see where C-Sway is coming from concerning Chris's behavior. And Jeff also spoke rightly as well. I agree with both of you guys. I do not like Huda, but I want to be very respectful for the fact that she is a person. And she's gone through an experience that's difficult, and to leave her child, like Chris said in his ending statement, must have been very difficult for her to do. So I want to give it up to her for just the fact that she put herself out there. She's clearly someone that was seeking love. And, I can appreciate that aspect of her being a mother, a mamacita, and her being, a woman that's looking for someone that's going to cherish her. I completely get that. I do not like how she treated other people when she didn't have to. Like, if there's a pattern, as we clearly see with Jeremiah and with Chris, on their own, these dudes seem, I'm not saying they are, I don't know them from Adam, but they seem to be level-headed, respectful gentlemen from what I saw. And at the end of it, it's an all-out war. Maybe not with Chris, but we saw him refusing to carry her, which I have mixed feelings about that. But it was the same outcome. And C-Sway pointed out she doesn't listen. And I feel as though she's a bit unstable, toxic, and selfish. I don't necessarily say she's narcissistic, because I feel like that's heavy. That's a heavy label to put on someone without actually knowing them day in and day out. But she displays those tendencies. Example one, latest example, when Chris is trying to explain to her about him trying to sleep, and she does put she's literally, she's showing him. She tried not to interrupt him. She almost did. And he was like, ah. But she's showing him that I've checked out. I no longer care about what you're saying. I only asked you to tell me how you're feeling so I can seem as though I care about what you have to say. But she didn't hear him. And for me, like, if you're and I feel like she jumps from liking someone to immediately being in a relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend. You have to build. You have to build on some type of level. And that's what Jeremiah was trying to propose to her before she crashed out on him that very last time. Like, get to know someone's ins and outs. Get to know what they like and what they don't like. Be respectful of their boundaries. Like, maybe she doesn't know that Chris is trying to sleep, or that, like, he doesn't play about his sleep. However, if he didn't respond to you, how are you now going to be poking him? How are you now going to be counting down to him like he is a child when he's clearly not responding to you? Can you respect the boundaries? It wasn't just him ignoring her. He was literally saying, I'm trying to pick my battles. If he crashed out at her, or if the roles were opposite or reversed, like, it's so invasive. It's like, it's only her feelings are valid in those moments. She does not account for any others. And when people are trying to communicate their feelings to her, she shuts down because it doesn't serve her. Again, pointing to her selfishness. Again, I don't think that she's a horrible person. I look at her as a person, but it's not good. And I have many other points, but I feel like that was a good enough one concerning Huda. Now to Chris. He's avoided. He communicated that to the guys. Unfortunately, he didn't communicate that to her. And so that led to things rolling over. And you can't do that, especially in the beginning of a relationship. You have to voice your concerns. I think a few of us are guilty of that. It doesn't make it right, especially with someone like Huda. She does need a man that's going to stand on business and put her in her place respectfully and kindly. And I feel like he tried to do that in the beginning, but because it was met with her overbearing personality, he just succumbed to it. So he needs a soft girl. He doesn't need not dominant, not masculine, but dominant woman like Huda. She's had to do a lot because she's a single mother. So she has to kind of take charge in certain places, but she needs a man that's going to identify as that and then communicate to her, how to navigate those discrepancies. So that's where he failed. Now to the water situation, if he didn't want to carry her, he offered her his hand. And she didn't want it. She wanted him to carry her. And he was like, my boundaries. So respectfully, if he didn't want to carry her and she didn't want to take what he was offering, which was to help her across, she wasn't going to sink. She would, and she happened to trip. He would have held her hand. She didn't want to take what he was offering her. She wanted it on her terms. Again, very selfish. So I don't blame him for saying, I'm not going to carry you. He was just dumped as well. That's my opinion. But, I rest.
Sade, I appreciate your opinion, but that part where you said about, he needs a man to put her in a place. Yeah. No. Listen, check yourself before you come check me. I'm not the one.
Don't misrepresent me. I didn't say a man. I said a type of. Chris is very much a man. Please understand that I am actually team Chris. Chris is very much a man. I don't want that to go over. No. I'm not putting down Chris in any aspect. I'm actually team Chris on this. I said a specific type of man. He has an avoidant type of personality, so he's not going to address things head on directly. And that's kind of the type of personality that Huda needs. I'm not saying that it's warranted. I'm saying he is a man that's a gentleman. And I'm sorry, I don't want to take over your reply. I just didn't want you to misrepresent what I meant about Chris or the man. Chris is a man.
I understand. I'm just saying, if we're to say that because Chris has an avoidant type, so does Huda. Huda definitely would have, I would imagine, a dismissive, avoidant type of personality, considering that she dismisses Chris's attempts at any form of affection, dismisses the fact that she's not going to meet his needs, right? I mean, I don't want to villainize Huda, but she clearly was not ready for the emotional demands of a relationship, especially in a setting like Love Island, which thrives on open affection, public vulnerability, and high-speed intimacy. So Chris, he to me was operating like emotionally available boyfriend mode, but Huda was operating on I'm barely surviving my own self-doubt mode. And when you put them two, what do you think was going to happen? There is no way that Chris, there was no way that Huda was ever going to try anything on Chris at all. At all. So, if anything, she needs healing and therapy more than a type of guy. Because there's so many issues I could say towards Huda, but I'm trying to keep it respectful, you know. I'm trying to keep it respectful, but still, like, she was struggling with internal conflict, self-esteem, how to receive love. She wanted connection, but she didn't have the tools or emotional stability to sustain it. And she unintentionally hurt someone who cared about her. Not because she didn't care, but she didn't know how to show it. So really and truly, the work all is on her. No type of guy is going to solve her own internal issues.
I 100% agree with you.
Oh, well, look at that. Listen, similar to everyone else, you know, I think that sometimes when people get a villain edit, we lambast them. So I just want to avoid doing that. But yeah, Huda has got a lot of growing up to do. You know, she really does. I think she's a great mom. She's a mommy. She's a mamacita, but she's not a good girlfriend. You know, she's not a good novia. She needs to stick to, you know, just being single for right now and work on her own issues. Because even when you see now, you know, and I'm definitely going to cover Chris's, you know, issues. But even when you see the moments when Chris tried to talk to her, the few conversations that they had, when he brought it to her the first time about the kissing in public, you know, she's quick to dismiss it. She jumps in. He has to constantly say, you know, let me finish my point. And I just feel like it's very hard to get any leeway in with her. And even after she acknowledged that she's not going to be kissing him in public, she jumped to, I want you to be all over me. I want you to be more touchy-feely. It's like, okay, so you just had a conversation about a need that that the guy had. You could quickly dismiss that, said, well, you're not going to do it. Jump to, now I need you to be all over me and make me feel good about myself. It's like, do you get, like, the scales are imbalanced? It's like where was the next jump to? Like, how do we jump to that? Like, I don't get it. I think, like, you know, unfortunately, a lot of her behavior is rewarded. And I think that when you don't fully hold that person accountable for what you want, or call them out for, like, hey, listen, I don't like this and this is what I need, and how are we going to work towards a compromise? And then, you know, you just leave it be. It's almost like a reward for someone like her. So I feel like Chris did a bad job of really holding his boundaries, because even she did give him a chance. I don't know what episode that was. I think that might have been 2 or 3 episodes back. But she said to him, hey, you know, she talked about something she wanted more from him. And then she asked him, what more do you want from me? You know, is there something that you know, that you think I need to change or I need to work on? And then he was like, oh, no, I'm good. Give me a kiss. You get what I'm saying? Like, you can't do that, because what that does is he's just not being true to himself. You're saying I let it go, but you never really let it go, because you're not getting what you need and you haven't reached a compromise on it. So now you're just holding it on the inside. So it's just building. And that's why, to Siwei's point, he hit her in the head with that pillow. What? I hate to laugh at that, but I just thought that was funny, because, you know, how a pillow fight turned into her getting hit in her head. And as soon as I saw her crouch down, holding her nose, I'm like, oh boy, we about to have a Huda meltdown. She's about to bring the energy. She's about to take a fun game and take it to the extreme. Then she comes and walks out the room with this big old bandage on her nose, which miraculously disappeared less than 24 hours later when they went on their date. So I hope he didn't hit her that hard. But if he did, I'm sorry. But it looked like he was being extra.
He smacked the hell out of her with that pillow. Now I don't know if she need that bandage, but he smacked the hell out of her with that pillow.
Well, listen, this is what happens when you play pillow fight. Everybody was throwing pillows. She just got cracked with the pillow. But the part that killed me was as soon as she was like, "You hit me hard as hell." The thing that agitates me, and me and Seaway go back and forth about this. Well, not about this point, but when we go back and forth about the Huda of it all. You know why it's hard for me to ever like really fully even completely empathize with her? I don't like non-black people that put on black scents. It bothers me. It just, when you just be you, talk how you talk, whatever that shows up. But you talking like this, you code switching over here. When you talking to your sisters, you sound like this, and then you talking over here. You're like, man, y'all mad disrespectful. Huda, I just be you, baby girl. I see her on TikTok. She has a beautiful voice. She sings well. Do that. Be that person. I do not like black scents. So for me, I automatically connect that to the person being a little disingenuous. So that's my own thing. I don't like it. So when she does it, but back to my Chris point, when he covered his head and rolled his eyes and looked at the camera like, oh, here she go again. That's when you knew the petty wars was about to be in play. And he should have really legit just asked her, like, hey, Huda, are you okay? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hurt you. She went, and she's going to do everything for attention. She comes running out of the bathroom. She's sitting on his bed. Oh my God. And his head is covered. That's when he's got a mean streak to him. And that just set the tone for the rest of the night. He didn't want to talk with her. He didn't want to be bothered with her. I think it was all downhill from there, and I just feel like he did himself a disservice by not saying, hey, Huda, I don't like when you do this. I don't like when you do that. I'm not at a resolve with this. I'm not at a resolve with that. We got to find a way to really bridge the gap and figure out how we're going to be meeting each other's needs. He should have had the conversation with her. Instead, he wants to just go to sleep and wake up the next day like he's going to sleep it all off. No, you're not going to sleep it all off. Go to, now she's in bed. She wants to cuddle. He's pretending to be asleep. Hey, I don't know what to tell you. At that point, you see somebody, you have to be able to read the room. Again, his thing, he should have just said, hey, listen, I get you want to cuddle. I don't really want to cuddle right now. Let's just go to bed. He said a few more words. He told her, I just want to go to sleep. But, you just acknowledge the person. I understand. I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. I just want to go to sleep right now. And I'm not in the mood to cuddle. I don't really want to cuddle.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So again, I just feel like he should be a little more clear in his communication with her, but she also has to know how to read the room. And you most definitely, when somebody is giving you the signs they don't want to be bothered with you, you don't say, okay, I'm going to count to 3. You're crazy. He's better than me because she was whispering in his ear, if you want to have a good day tomorrow, then you better not ignore me. I would have whispered in her ear and cursed her out. I'm sorry.
Same. I would have done the same.
Don't count with me. We gonna count. We gonna count in a second. Cause don't be counting with me. Don't give me a countdown and threaten me.
No, but Sean, I agree. Look, everything you said, I agree with you. I mean, obviously, this is the right thing to do, but you and I both know the guy was emotionally checked out. I mean, the guy has been repeatedly bringing up a lack of affection, emotional connection. When he said, I'm patient, I'll go at your pace, I will admit, he did show passive-aggressive tendencies. He got frustrated by the fact that, he wasn't getting what he wanted. He became visually disappointed or resentful when Huda didn't meet his emotional expectations. He tried to be understanding, but, hey, the more Huda kept on basically just playing games, he's like, I'm done with this. So I think when that pillow incident happened, I'm not saying that he did it on purpose. I'm just saying that's all I'm gonna say. I'm just saying it was not on purpose. But when he rolled his eyes, I'm like, okay, yeah, he's done with this situation. So the fact that Huda now is trying to make it seem as if that she wants, it's just the inconsistency for me. But he was checked out. It was just checked out.
He said they can have that 100K. It's not worth it.
Well, he told us that he could be playing ball, so let him go do that.
And that's when we all should have known that he was probably just as problematic as Huda was. The moment he said that bull crap, that's when folks' intelligence should have went up. But you know, some people ain't lived long enough yet.
So for me,
I'm sorry. I still am stuck on the countdown because I'm sorry. You count down
because he was playing with her and she was playing with him because he was trying to act.
I'll be like,
listen.
I got some numbers for you too. 1, 2, 3, and you about to get cussed out by me.
But here's my thing, though. Here's my thing. I'm kind of like, I'm not with the countdown. Y'all know I wouldn't have did that. But my thing is, don't play with me, because if you're trying to act like you don't hear me, don't wake up in the morning like it's all good because you hear me talking to you and you're playing like you don't hear me. Like, that's not cool.
Oh,
he's playing games too.
Is it fair for her to wake him up though? Because everybody else was sleeping.
That man was not asleep. Everyone knows.
Everybody else was sleeping.
They had just turned the lights off. They weren't asleep.
Oh my god!
He went to Seaway. He went to sleep as soon as he hit her with that pillow. Because did you see him? As soon as he hit her with that pillow, he was like,
"Yes,
you're about to go night night."
Exactly, Sean. Exactly, Sean. Exactly.
He took that cover, that white blanket, he rolled his eyes, and he went to sleep from that moment on. He was like, because I know it's going to be a problem. What he should have did was just said, sorry, my bad. I didn't mean to hit you that hard. Or if he wanted to lie, he could have said, I didn't mean it. Or he could have just said, my bad, I'm sorry. Sorry you got hurt. Give her a hug in the moment. And babe, you know what? I'm shot. I'm tired. I'm going to head to bed right now because I just want us to have a good day tomorrow.
That's all he had to say.
I agree with you, but I feel like he's also tried to pacify her with those type of rebuttals where he'll say, I'm sorry, or this, and she'll come back with, well, you could have done this, or why did you do this? Exactly. So I feel like this man has tried. Again, I understand Nick. Sorry. Chris has his flaws, and he has done things.
Boy, you got it bad. You got Nick on the brain. What is going on?
I know the chat is going to come for me. I have not been in Nick's DMs. I don't want the man. I just ship the relationship. Leave me alone.
No. You're the one that decided to bring Nick up in
it.
it.
To be released.
No, let's go back to Chris.
Nick got you all the way from Fiji.
Y'all leave me alone. Anyway, I didn't mean sorry. Oh no, I'm joking. So with Chris, I feel as though he has tried, and there's only so much you could do for a 2-week relationship. Because has it been 2 weeks? Has it even been how long has it been? Where it's like we're trying to get to know each other. I'm trying to meet you halfway. Hood is not about meeting anyone halfway. I'm trying to think of anything that she did for Chris, specifically, except criticize him or ask him for certain things for herself. I'm trying to think back. If anyone can clue me in, that would be great in the chat. If she's done anything, even for Jeremiah, I'm just trying to see where she did anything. I'm not talking about the girls, because I think that she was very kind to some of the ladies, and as far as her interaction with people, I think she has a great personality. I'm talking about specifically her romantic relationships with Chris and Jeremiah. Is there anything that we remember she did for them selflessly? I'm trying to think about it. So I feel as though
what are you talking about though? What did the other women do? All they did was sit up there, get their makeup done, and get breakfast served to them.
Chelly definitely did s'mores date for
a very long time. That was a very long time. Towards the end, she finally got an opportunity.
No, she cooked for him. You don't remember when she cooked for him too? Chelly cooked for him earlier on.
We're not gonna know what she was doing in the villa. They don't show us everything that's going on in the villa.
I
Well,
agree they don't. I'm just trying to give an example
I,
of
I would say to
Mhm.
Sade's point, like Ace did mention the things that Chelly did for him that he liked in terms of listening to him, letting him be him, working through whatever conflicts that they had. Those are things that unfortunately Huda, we haven't seen that from
Yeah.
her or heard
I'm
anyone say that she was doing so.
Yeah, I'm just trying to draw the parallels to where Chris would have felt safe enough to go into the details. Because to your point, Sean, where you said that she said, do you have anything to say? And he said, give me a kiss. But he has done that before, where she said, do you have anything else? And he proceeded to tell her what it was, and she cut him off several times. And then he did it on the dock, and it's like she was like, can we not argue about this? And he was like, I wasn't trying to argue. I'm actually just trying to move on. And then at the dinner, she had the premise of, let's talk about it. What would you like to say? And he proceeded to tell her, and she went ahead and put her head on her palm and looked at him like she was checked out. So my thing is that was her opportunity to really listen and hear him out or acknowledge it. And she's not capable of that. I don't see her being capable of that. I feel as though it to Seaway's point that they weren't compatible, and it wasn't a lack of him trying. It was not a lack of the man trying. We saw him try. She wore him out.
Yeah.
Y'all gonna get enough of making these men victims.
No.
I don't know when we're gonna learn to stop making these men victims, because y'all always regret it. Y'all always regret it. I'm not gonna say that Huda was perfect, but Chris was in no way a victim. Actually, Chris got the opportunity to watch Huda from the very beginning. He got a chance to watch her entire film. I don't know if you like basketball, but he got a whole tape on Huda. A whole tape on Huda. He decided to actually go with Huda. And then when at every opportunity he had a time to tell her about where he wanted adjustments, he said nothing. He actually got a chance to watch both sides film, from what went wrong on Jeremiah's side and her side. He said, no, I want her. This is the one I want. He didn't want to go after Chelly. He wanted Huda. And then proceeds to be passive aggressive and not speak up at all. So to me, victimizing him is wild. He had the whole tape on Huda. And then y'all love to I really feel that y'all new favorite words are narcissist and abusive. Narcissist, I really want narcissist and abusive to just go. That is y'all favorite words.
Who said that?
Not you. I'm just talking about every time I look up, I keep seeing narcissist and we're always diagnosing somebody and calling somebody narcissist and abusive.
Well,
Wait,
she is abusive now. We can't deny that.
Nope.
Narcissist is a stretch, but we can definitely call out abuse when we see it, whether it's verbal, emotional. It's abusive.
To Amaya and Iris, she called them out their names and she didn't even know them. And now they were her biggest supporters. I mean, for me, that's what I don't like about Huda. I understand she's human, but for you to call women out of their names that you don't know them, and they are your biggest. Today, we saw them literally be shoulders to cry on for her. Amaya was trying to support her down, and she called her out her name. She don't even know her. For me, that's why I don't like Huda, because you have no right to.
I just get it. I just feel like people on Love Island, I think there's a lot of people who are miserable in their lives, right? There's a lot of people who aren't happy right now. And so I think there's a lot of people who get a kick out of feeling like they're better than Huda. That Huda is abusive, Huda's verbally abusive, that Huda is doing all these things wrong, and that I get a chance to punch down on Huda. And that's what I'm noticing. It's not just Huda. It's the people attacking Sierra too and hopping in her DMs saying that they wish that she would unalive themselves. I think people are literally very fixated on going off about what Huda is, where Huda has imperfections, so they make themselves feel better. And I know people are going to be like, that's a hot take. I already know that. I'm not worried about it. I already know that. But there's a lot of fixation with trying to figure out what Huda is, where Huda's effing up at. Huda's abusive. Huda's this and that. But who are you guys to give accountability, though? Are you accountable? My thing is, what is this fixation with making sure that Huda is accountable? These be the same people that don't want to be accountable about their own stuff, but they want to make sure that Huda the stranger is so accountable about things. I find it fascinating. People are so fixated with these strangers' accountability. And I'm trying to figure out when everybody became the judge and the juror on everybody. No, you can have an opinion, but people are very fixated with her accountability. And I just think that's interesting. But okay.
Can I respond? I don't think it's about accountability to everyone.
I'm responding to the people who said that they want her to have accountability.
Okay.
So you say that, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking about there's a list of people who are very fixated with her accountability. There's people who want not just accountability for Sierra, but they want retribution. They want to see her on a cross and burned at a stake.
Yeah, it's
there's a lot of that going on. That's all I'm saying. Like the conversations on here on the platform is I think the way you guys are talking about Huda is not really a problem. You know what I mean? Like you guys are talking about what you observe, and it is what it is. But I do think there's a lot of people that are very, very fixated with Huda and where she's gone wrong. And I think that's really interesting.
Mm.
I mean, I think it's just the fact that I hear what you're saying, Seaway. Look, it's not as if that Chris is 100% free from accountability or he is like the perfect victim, right? As much as he tries to have a quote unquote secure attachment style, look, I would say he became definitely anxious, preoccupied. I mean, he did not stay within the frame of boundaries. I mean, he communicated his needs clearly. Yes, he's comfortable with intimacy, but he betrayed his own boundaries. That's where he went wrong. He betrayed his own boundaries when he knew he wasn't getting what he wanted. And that caused him to shift into a more passive-aggressive sort of situation. So he got to take accountability, having more self-control over himself. 110%. As much as he would have been upset at Huda, that doesn't mean it gives him the right to act anyhow. It doesn't. He can't go down the path of the woman. He can't become petty in his behavior, though it's understandable. He can't do that. So yeah, he got to take accountability for that. And I'm saying that. I think it's more so. I actually take back what I said about Huda having dismissed. I think it's more fearful avoidant. I think she's the type of person that wants love, but then fears how to get it. That's, I think a lot of the audience was seeing more of the push and pull dynamic of a guy, trying, not getting what he wanted. But then you have someone literally just saying something totally different. It's just the inconsistency. But that isn't to say that Chris is scot-free. He's also responsible for the choices that he makes. It's just anytime you see someone say something, but then they don't follow up on what it is that they're talking about, of course it's going to be ticking the audience off. Does that mean that they should be burning Huda at the stake? No. I think it's just the fact that we all know what it's like to be in relationships where you go above and beyond outside of yourself to be with someone who clearly just doesn't want to be with you. And if they say that they do, they're clearly not showing interest and not engaging in it. So, hey, that's just my 2 cents on it.
But see, Jeff, I really love how you said it, because I think you're definitely not the person I'm talking about, right? Like, I think the interesting part about Love Island, whether like Huda may be a person that offends a lot of people in the comments, or maybe people, right? And maybe Chris, for me, some of his behavior, maybe that kind of was more offensive to me because I've experienced people who kind of act like him, petty, whatever. But I think regardless of who in the island, triggered some emotion out of you or made you feel away, all of these people are dynamic, I would say, characters. And I think there's something that could be learned and pieced apart from everybody, right? Like, I think there's a, not saying that these people are a piece of you, the individual, but I think what we see in Chris and Jeremiah and Huda, Alandria, Nick, is all a piece of things that happen in society that can be learned from. And so that's kind of how like I take the shows and what I take from it. I think, you know, everyone is layered. I even feel like Ace showed that he was layered. I think in the beginning of the show, he was kind of easy to dislike and villainize, and he was a plotter and a schemer and very, very negative. But then you kind of saw the humanity of him when he found out that he wasn't received well by America. And you kind of saw the humanity of Chelly, if you didn't see it before, when she found out how she was being received. And I think you kind of were able to see the humanity of people individually. Even Ace, who to me, maybe Ace for some people was like Huda for some people, but Ace was really bothersome for me with the way he conducted himself. Because I don't like kind of like the mean boys or the mean girls, and I don't like people plotting on people. And the way he kind of bothered Amaya was very bothersome to me, right? Maybe that's the way some people feel about Huda. I'm not taking away from it, but I think the way we saw his humanity, I feel like I was able to see a lot of people's humanity throughout the show. And I just don't, I think some people, not all people, but I think a lot of people lose that part. You know, like everyone has a bit of humanity, and I think everyone has humanity, not a bit of humanity. And I feel like that just be lost in the conversation. But I'm not talking about anyone on the panel. I think the way we have talked about these people individually, you know, you can definitely call things out for behavior that you're seeing, but also understand that things don't work in a vacuum. Everyone's interacting with each other and causing different things, and they kind of all work together. That's my point.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, there isn't to say that there aren't times I'm trying to find another word other than sassy, because I know, well, I could say it, but I think Chris, he had his moments where like I said, you'd be petty. Like, he gave me that emotionally exhausted dad energy when it came towards Huda. You know, Huda acting like I don't know what I want, and Chris be like, that makes two of us, because clearly he was over it in the way he kind of showed up. Of course, you know, it's you're right in saying that these characters on Love Island, they're like microcosms. And considering as someone I don't really watch Love Island that much, I was kind of checked out on it, but I decided, okay, let me give my 2 cents a little bit now on watching a couple of episodes. I think it's just the fact that anytime you see power dynamics go on in relationships, depending on which side of the coin you fall on, whether you're the person who is more so leading the charge or someone who's following the charge, it is going to trigger or elicit a response from you. And sometimes I think it's just the injustice of it. If you see someone, a good dude, I'm not saying that Chris is perfect, but if you see someone seemingly doing all the right things and not getting what you want, people are going to call out for blood. They just are. They are just going to call out for blood. And that isn't to say that Huda is a villain. She's not a villain. She's not a villain. She did some grimy things, but she's still a human being that both people got a lot of work to do, but for different reasons. Huda, she definitely has to work on, number one, being honest, being upfront about what she actually wants, because what she says what she wants and then what she does are two different things. So the inconsistencies are there with her. Yes, her inability to probably regulate her emotions, especially when it came to other people, is an issue, which is why it can come across as abusive. But that doesn't necessarily mean that we need to start demonizing her. So I will just simply say that both people, they have work to do on different sides of the spectrum, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. You know, and to the other part of it, you know, like, listen, after watching the family visits, that's when I knew we got to try to find some way to give every single person some grace on this show, you know, because those folks was seriously looking like that was a prison visit. They were so excited to see their parents. You know, just think about the environment you're in. They have no access to phones, can't watch TV, no access to the, you know, they can't, there's no internet access. and they're forced in this compressed environment to be with each other and try to make relationships work, and they're doing all these wild challenges, and getting kicked out and judged by America. So it's a lot. Not something I would want to sign up for. So yeah, you're gonna see the extremes. And look, I don't know. Like, that's when I said, you know what? As much as certain things some people may do that I don't like, you saw how they were with their family, and them just being so happy, getting those moments, and to be away from your family and not even have access to them if you wanted to, it's a lot. You know what I'm saying? And similar, see where you mentioned it. And that's when I started to root for Chelly and Ace at the end, because I saw, it seemed to me, and I hope I'm right. It seemed to me like they had a genuine connection. It seemed like he was really starting to open up. He, took him a while to get exclusive and close off, but he got there. And I got to respect him for that, because he could have been faked and closed off early, because it's not like he was moving around the villa with a whole lot of, of the women trying, so again, I was a little upset because I felt like, people just got petty and, wanted him out of their villa, as the Love Islanders fans say, to get out of my villa. So they wanted him out the villa. And so he went along with Chelly. But, listen, I'm rooting for them. I hope they, continue it from there. Some of the after, the show interviews, they, look like they want to give it a good shot. So I wish them the best. This ain't for the week. Let me tell you that. The show ain't for the week.
But I just thought it was I think the fact that once Ace got some type of idea about the way that he was perceived, I thought it was interesting how he was able to make that adjustment. And I think back to how, like, a lot of us, including myself, changed during COVID. The COVID was not Love Island, but just like having limited access, kind of being like to yourself and things like that. It changes a lot of the way you act. I can't imagine not having a phone. Let's say you talk to your mom every day. You can't talk to your mom. Maybe you emotionally regulate one way, but you can't do that. I think that part of it people really miss, and that's going to really change the way some people may interact. And I definitely agree. Even the people that really, really get on your nerves, like for me, it was Ace, and a few others. You kind of have to have grace for it. Even Zach, the one from England, the British guy. Even he was on my nerves, and now that he's outside the villa, he don't seem too bad. I just think,
Really? Zach was triggering you that much?
I didn't like Zach.
Damn.
I didn't like him.
Yeah, he was being a little wishy-washy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then he was seeming like he was being kind of cloudish, jumping on and off the Amaya train when it was convenient.
Yeah.
Then throwing her under the bus during the, stand on business. When Austin had some commentary towards her. Yeah, I find him to be disingenuous, and I find him to be just as disingenuous offline, but maybe I'm reading him wrong. But because he's had a lot to say about a lot of people. I don't like people that have a lot of
you're not
negative
reading him wrong. You're not
once
reading
you get
him
off
wrong.
the show.
I've
so
seen
has
something.
Coco has had some not so nice things to say too. So some people just need to
Yeah, Coco has said a few things, but I
Can
wasn't
I ask what she said? I've seen 2 interviews. Well, no, I saw one
I don't
interview.
even want to repeat it. I'll write it in the private chat. I don't just want to give it any life.
Because I watched the interview and I thought it was out of context, the clip I saw of that interview. So I was just curious. But yeah, we can.
Business was 5 to 6 hours. How can they do that for 5 to 6 hours?
Yeah, that's what Andrina said. She said it was long, and they had a lot. They had a lot of negative commentary for Huda, but that was edited out. Oh, and then Pretty Assassin said something too. She gave us a super chat. Thank you, Pretty Assassin. She said, just a little context. After Huda crashed out on Jeremiah, production gave her a final warning and had a therapist speak to her. So
yeah, just for context on that, because I've seen a lot of people who are close to production, but not on this production set. I was telling Sean this. A lot of people feel like Yulisa, the one who got in trouble for saying the N-word, was supposed to be the villain of the show. But when she was kicked out, or at least the villain of the first half of the show, when she was early removed, the production kind of focused on making Huda the villain. And then they kind of realized they pushed too hard because she didn't seem mentally set up for that edit. And then they tried to rehabilitate her, which I think is something that people need to be in mind before they make all these judgments and label people. Production really has a hand on how we view people. If they want to give Ace a redemption arc, they give Ace a redemption arc, just like they try to clean him up a little bit before they send him packing. They know how to give whoever the villain at it in the redemption arc. Just they were able to set Amaya Papaya up for her winning. So I just want to be clear about that. Of course they're going to give her therapy if they feel like they were a part of her crashing out, because they try to make Huda the villain because they didn't have one. I think that's important, because the way you Lisa cutting up, I could tell she would have been a fantastic villain. She would have ate that up.
I feel some type of way about that, like making someone something. I know production does have a way of editing things, and we saw that with Chelly and Nicolandria and them trying to make them mean girls, because we didn't see the full like Huda issue or Huda sitting on Ace's face, and we had a few people say like that happened. And I believed Andrina when she said 5 to 6 hours, because I've heard that plenty of times with different other reality shows, and they've complained about like not having enough sleep. So like it goes into the early hours. And we even saw today where they're all in pajamas when when Amaya and Brian come back. Like, so it was a long day of filming. So I can believe like we don't see everything. So we have to give grace because we don't see everything. However, things that come out of your mouth are your own responsibility. Like they can't make you say certain things. They can, edit it in a manner in which, you don't react you don't react well, or you're reacting badly or what have you. But the words that are coming out of your mouth, some of it, there's no context that's going to make it look better than it does. Like, you said what you said, and you are moving the way you're moving without any editing. That's just who you are. And it's been consistent with certain people. And
I'm not trying to cut you off, but when you respond like with saying things like that, it almost makes it seem like I said that they put words in her mouth. And
no.
People are gonna respond, but like when you respond like that, it almost makes it seem like I said that. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't say that. That's the only thing I want to stop and say. I never said that. I never said they put words in her mouth at all. Nor did I say she didn't say any of those things.
Sorry, I'm not speaking to what you said. I'm just speaking to the whole production makes people a villain. They can probably help push that agenda or narrative, but you're adding to that in one aspect or another. So I wasn't trying to say that you said this or that. I'm just speaking to how it's not. If someone appears a certain way, yes, it can be skewed. However, there's extremes, and then there's vague. Like, if the people are going to have opposing opinions about a particular thing, maybe we didn't have the full context of what's going on. However, if you put things in context and you can see, oh, okay, this person said this because of this, or this person reacted to this, then I would understand production manipulating that. But if there's certain things that come out of your mouth, it doesn't, and everyone else is reacting a certain way and checking you, or we're seeing certain things, like I don't see how I don't buy certain things is my point. But I know that it's possible because they have done that with other people in the cast. Someone put in the comment how Amaya, wigged out as Chelly because Ace was making her breakfast. But Chelly didn't have any parts of that. But they didn't, villainize Amaya. And people have, they, like you said, they have layers and things like that. So for me, I'm speaking to just the fact that production is going to perpetrate whatever you give them, whether it's good or bad. And it can be unfair. Absolutely. And we've already said that about Huda. We've already said that about other people that could have been misconstrued. We can see, I feel like as time goes by, people's real intentions will come out. Whether it's not in the villa, it'll be outside. Like, people's true essence eventually comes out. You may not see it right away, but it will come out eventually. I wanted to also speak. Someone said that Chelly and Chris would have made a better couple than Ace and Chelly, and I respectfully disagree. I don't necessarily think that Ace is the best match for Chelly. However, I think she's a better fit than Chris. As we've seen things kind of play out, it's not a knock on Chris. It's just more so how I feel as though Chelly seems to be a woman that knows herself. She knows how to temper her. If she's not in the mood for a conversation, she's going to respectfully decline, and she's going to speak up and share her feelings, but she's not going to put someone down in that situation. And I feel like Chris maybe would have been a good listener, but he may not have been able to handle certain conflicts. As he has admitted, he's avoidant. So I don't know if he would have had problems with Chelly in the villa, but maybe over time, if they have obstacles, sorry, he's a brokey. I don't mean to, I mean say it, but I don't mean to say it. So like, I feel like she's a bit more, she needs someone that's Ace, that's gonna, kind of go to her level. But I won't say that they're the best match, Ace and Chelly. I just feel like they're a better match than than Chelly and Chris would have been. I just wanted to address that in the comments.
How you slip that in there so nicely? He's a brokey. Where'd that come from?
Yeah.
It was a mean comment. I apologize, but I don't.
Well,
listen, I'm not going to get all the way on you, because I think he's looking for somewhere to lay down. I've been saying that. So.
But that's the crazy part. And so many people think he's looking for somewhere to lay down, but they don't realize that he could be up to something too, and that he's a part of the problem. Not saying y'all, but people will say, "Oh, he's a brokey, he's looking for somewhere to lay down," but then say all these wonderful things. What the heck? They don't go together.
Layers. Hey.
Hey.
Yeah, there's layers, all right.
Hey, you can have good character and still be a Dusty.
Thank you.
Yeah, listen, if you ain't got no money, you got to have something. You got to pick a struggle. You can't be emotionally unregulated and broke.
Hey.
Sean, you got it.
Yeah.
My brother used to say you can either be ugly or mean. You can't be both.
You got to pick a struggle. So, Chris was like, I'm going to give you this emotional regulation until I don't have nothing left to give. Then I got passive aggressiveness for you and pettiness. So yeah, let's we can migrate on to the winners now. The Amaya, Papaya, and Brian of it all. I'm rooting for them. I'm hoping they make it work. People is trying to say Amaya and Huda got a lot in common, so I don't know what anybody thinks about that. But yeah, I'm excited that they won. I'm rooting for them. I like them as a couple, and I hope they can go the distance. So who wants to go next? About Amaya and Brian, rather.
I'll say I think they're both emotional. Outside of that, though, I think they're both emotional and they don't listen very well, both of them. But I just think Amaya is just a nicer person, probably to be around. She's less combative. But that's all I really got on that. I am happy for Amaya and Brian. Amaya would be too much for me, but I definitely feel like Brian is the perfect match for her. I voted for them, and I definitely think location-wise, family background-wise, and yeah, Amaya definitely has deep empathy. And I disagree that Huda can't see beyond her perspective. I think she did a lot of self-reflection, but anyway. Now, did she change? No, but I think she did reflect. She did reflect. Now, did she apply?
Get out of here. Get out of here.
Reflection and application are two different things. Let's make it plain. But yeah, no, I definitely am happy for them, and I really want to believe. I really want to believe that Brian is being authentic. I want to believe that. But unlike some of y'all, I understand the power of editing. Just like y'all believe that Huda was terrorizing the villa for 40 days and 40 nights, which she could have been. What I know is that production showed us terrorizing the villa 40 days and 40 nights. What I also know is production showed Brian in a wonderful light the entire time. We're only going to get what they want us to see. We're not going to know the whole tea until they get on that table. I mean, on that stage. Not the table, Lord. Get up on that stage and tell us what we need to know. Until then, I'm not going to be team, not a got dog person. Well, I am in Huda HQ, but still, if we get up on that reunion stage and everybody say that she was cutting up and they all agree, everybody, well then it is what it is. But I'm not going to let production manipulate me. So.
Not to worry, Siri. I mean, I'm not gonna name names, but someone did say, this isn't exactly married at first sight. This is not a marriage. So, I'm gonna give him. Okay, I'm gonna be graceful because normally I don't have much hope for any Love Island contestant. Like, I look at the track record of how many people actually stay together, and it's not a lot. So I'm gonna be graceful, and I'm gonna give him 3 months. Yeah, I'm gonna give him 3 months before they do exit. But I will say this though. Brian and Amaya, I think that they speak different love languages, but I think they have the capacity to learn each other's from what I've seen. Amaya definitely is someone who's like words of affirmation and quality time and emotional intensity. Brian, he's more like acts of service, physical presence, and steadiness and reliability. And I think they are emotional. I think they would clash at first because she would want him to say it, and then for Brian, he wants her to show it. But I think they sort of work in a way only because there's a level of consistency that we have seen. So yeah, I'm rooting for them. I'm rooting for them. So hopefully they can make it work on a long-term basis. Yeah. Oh, and shout out to the comments section. Someone who said said that was Nick Matthias. I'm sorry. That just made me laugh.
Should they?
I didn't hear what was the comment. Sorry, what was that was making you laugh, Jeffrey?
No, I just said, I think what I wrote in the comments, how someone said that you're Nick Matthias. That just made me laugh.
Oh yes, guys, come on. First of all, my type is dark chocolate men. I actually do not find Nick attractive like that. I don't. So let's
You were
clear it
sure
on that.
defending them though.
No, honestly, I ship them. I ship them so hard. I told it's the TikTok. I'm addicted to the TikTok edits, and I love it so much. I love it. Alondria, anyway.
Jeff, don't
Sorry.
set
So
her back,
going,
please. Come on now.
huh?
Okay, I'm just,
Don't set.
sorry.
I was telling Jeff not to set you back because you
Yeah,
finally
exactly. We're
have.
trying to move forward. We're trying to move
Okay, I'm sorry.
forward.
I'm sorry. I'm being like Chris. I'm being very petty right now.
I'm a Christian girl. I'm like Bella. I don't kiss. Like I don't kiss it. Period. So Nick would definitely not be my type. Just so something, and y'all don't know me like that. Anyway, sorry. So concerning Brian and Amaya, I feel as though someone said it like Brian is very intelligent. Someone was saying that he twitches when Amaya mispronounces words. Guys, I feel as though Brian is intelligent. He saw his money pot like Zach, but he couldn't finesse it. Zach could not finesse it like Brian. Like I give Brian his props. I feel as though if you can be patient with Amaya the way she is, then he's working for it. I feel like he didn't scam because Amaya's a very particular personality type. He's very high level energy. And if you're someone that cannot deal with that, then you're going to get your just desserts. But if you are someone that can deal with that, then yeah, I feel as though $50,000 is great. It's a great salary to get. I'm not gonna hate on him for being able to finesse it. He did a great job. If it's genuine, then all power to them. God bless them. He deserves to be loved. He deserves to be loved, and I hope it works out for them. Yes, I am a little bit bitter that they beat, my ship, but that's fine. However, I will give them this grace. I wish I would have gotten to see all these couples a little bit longer because we want to be able to see them past a week. All of them are a week. Like maybe Pepe and Iris are like a week and like 2 days. There's not enough time for us to see them actually develop into a genuine couple or people that we see how their high, if there's any highs or lows or conflicts or bombshells that come between them, or how they handle, like situations or arguments. We're just seeing the very much honeymoon phase of, I respect you, I'm attracted to you, you're hot, and that's it. Like I would have really loved, and we know, our Nicolandrians, we would love to see more of their interactions to really like gauge their genuineness towards one another. And I feel as though, just like with Chris and Huda, like there was only so much. I mean, he just cracked. Like Chris just cracked. At the top of the week, they were in love. They were together, kissing and stuff. So, give them some time. Let's see how they would have really been. But I think Amaya was probably the best outcome for the nation, because if it was Hood Rats had won, we would never hear the end of it. If it was the Nicolandrians, we would never hear the end of it. It would have been hate, hate, hate. But Amaya was a great happy medium that I think both of it is a compromise. So compromise is like we none of us got exactly what we wanted, but we can live with it. We're not fully happy, but we can live with it. We'll deal with it. So I think that's my opinion on it.
You heard it best. So if you guys are gonna live with a scammer winning, hey, is what it is.
What? What's that last thing on the end? You said they're scamming, Jeff?
No, I mean, everyone's saying that Brian's a scammer. So hey, if he scammed his way to victory, then let him do his thing.
I hope not. And what made me ride for them as a couple was when he defended her, even when he didn't have to, before they knew America loved her. Unlike Zach, who switched it up, he defended her. Even the pops was like, I like when you did that. I saw that where you explain that, you understand Latina culture. I like that he affirms her. I think, and Amaya says the same thing too. He doesn't make her feel bad for who she was and who she is. I think she is a lot to handle. I'm not going to pretend that. I also get, yes, she's also in the preference category as well. But I do know that she shows up as somebody that can be misunderstood. And she got a lot of, even despite her aesthetics and being a beautiful woman, she got a lot of heat from the guys in the beginning. And I just love that he does that. I hope it's not a scam. I hope he's not love bombing her, the other word that, people love to throw around. I hope that's not the case. You know what I'm saying? And he, he's doing all the things that, if I had a daughter, I would want, I would want them to be treated that way. He tells her, don't ever pull back, be yourself, and I think they can work together. Now, can they make it through the long haul? I don't know. I don't know. But I like them and I ship them.
Yeah, let's just wait until they get their sponsorship deals and check back on this conversation in the next 5 months, and then we'll really see if they're able to.
Why are you being so cynical, Jeff?
You want to know why I'm being very cynical, Sean? I have been watching many Love Island contestants over the years from the UK side, and I have never, ever seen a single one of them make it even past a flipping year. I have not seen it yet. I mean, maybe there's like a rare occasion, maybe the exception to the rule, right? But it is really rare. And you also got to think about when you now enter back into the real world, because yes, Live Island is an experiment. You're having people in confined spaces and they're being filmed continuously. And yes, there's editing here and there, and you're dealing with all sorts of different characters. But then when you now enter back into the real world, you got to deal with DMs. You got to deal with sponsorship deals. That type of temptation to be answering calls and answering certain things whilst you're in a relationship, it can. And then when people are liking you and you're the eye candy, trust me, it is very difficult to resist. You have to have some level of strength to not go with the crowd, to go against the grain. And
we got the Beyond the Villa show that's coming out, and there's the top 3 couples are all together. So much so that they centered a whole show around them.
Yeah, they're 60%. They're so So again, I mentioned like this is season 7 of USA. There's only 5 couples that have lasted out of those 7 seasons. So it's like Jeffrey said, it's very rare. That's why I'd asked if you guys had seen previous seasons. Again, I'm not promoting that you guys go watch it. I'm just saying like to know the culture of it. It's not really to be something that you need to get your hopes high that they're gonna last. So that's why I'm trying to enjoy, the ships while they're in the villa, because it's not something like this is not a real depiction of life. In these rare cases, it's nice to see that they're so genuine and they continue, but we're not really expecting too much of it. I think because it has gained a larger audience, there might be that expectation to keep up pretenses. But I mean, I applaud Brian. If he's a scammer, if he's genuine, both ways are going to be difficult. Like he's going to have a hard time maintaining the facade if he's faking. And if he's genuine, then I applaud him for being that interested, because she is a lot. And
Yeah.
I love Amaya. I think her redemptive quality is her empathy. That is what we like about her. I'm not really in with the mispronunciations. I don't want them to make fun of her, because if English is not her first language, like I feel like there's a thin line between people making fun of her, and I don't think that that's right or fair. So I don't like that at all. But her the qualities that I don't appreciate is her lack of self-control, and the fact that she does not listen to others. So a few people made a few of those comments in the chat. So I feel like she's someone that's trying, and feel like hopefully she'll be able to progress where she is digestible and it does not harm her, because it seems like she's very trusting, and she's completely put her trust in Brian. I mean, throwing it at him like within days. And I'm not judging her for it. I actually just want her to be a little bit more self-aware and situationally aware as well, because on Sun, is it Sun After Sun or what have you, the girl that she's a Black woman, I think she won season 2, and then Love Island Games, she was done dirty twice. She was scammed twice by the person that she won with. And they were 2 different people. So, very intelligent or not intelligent people can get scammed. So I hope that Maya wises up, or she has, a village that can protect her. And she's also able to adapt to the life that she's about to enter, because nobody was doing her social media. So she's not necessarily social media trained as well. She's modeled, but it doesn't seem that though she's street smarts. I think if that's what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying that she's not smart, because she's very smart. She's a nurse. You cannot be dumb and be a nurse and successfully keep that as a career going. So I think it's naivete and a bit too trusting. But I do love her empathy. And that's it.
And yeah, Sean, I really also want to believe that Brian isn't scamming. I really want to believe that he is trying to be authentic as possible. I think maybe my cynical side is this, and maybe because I'm a bit of a normie, but if you have to go to a show like Love Island to find love, I really have to question your intentions as to why you're going in the first place. Because obviously the dynamics of what goes on in a confined space is different to what you now do out in the real world. So I always side-eye that sort of thing. But I really, really hope that they are genuine and they make it work. I want to see, more representation of, couples able to make it work, get through the tough times. But obviously there are character traits that both Brian and Amaya possess that can be problematic if they're not able to talk through it. But still, yeah, I'm a bit skeptical at times of some of these couples. But hey, that's just me.
Listen, these people, a lot of them are in their early 20s, some in their mid 20s. When I was that age, 3 months, 6 months, maybe a year, on to the next. That's just, I mean, God bless people who are able to settle down, in their, early or mid 20s, good for them. I know it wasn't me. So if you got a good 6 months out of me,
that's why God, remember I told you that's why God took your hair. Remember?
What?
He knows why.
That's Seaway's. That's her philosophy. Men who go bald, especially early, in their 30s, they were giving women hell. So
Next live, I want y'all to see a picture of what Sean looked like in his 20s.
LOL.
He's a very handsome man
Okay.
now, but in his
That's
20s,
Seaway
his
dropping
name was
tea like this.
Ricardo. His name was Ricardo Davis.
I wasn't that bad, but I definitely I stressed some people out. I'm sure. But most
So
of my exes
Sean,
still talk to me, except for maybe one. But
so Sean, do you consider yourself a good person though? Because from what I've seen, you seem like a very commendable individual.
I guess it depends on who you ask, but overall, yeah, I think I'm a good person. I try my best to do the right thing, but I can't be accountable for that same level of reality when I was in my 20s. I mean, I still tried to be a good person. I mean, I didn't willfully go out there and try to, hurt anybody or deceive anybody, but
So where I'm trying to land at is giving grace to these other men.
Oh, come
on. I'm trying to take you down a road to give these grace to these other men that are also in their early 20s and 24.
Like who?
Talking about their Frico. I'm not gonna say the name because y'all want to come at me. Y'all want to come at me.
You're not gonna beat those Nico allegations.
She's definitely not gonna beat it because I don't see her advocating for Huda. She only here advocating for one person.
Yeah, it's
exactly.
Like why?
No, not one person. A relationship. Not one person. A relationship. I'm down on this hill. I don't care. I do not care. We are loyal
you want something for
investigators.
somebody that's gonna not be for their betterment, and we
exactly.
See, you know what it is, and why I can't fully wrap my arms around supporting the Nicolandria of it all and the Delulu of it is because we saw how Taylor didn't do the right things with Alandria, right? He was very he was deceptive in the fact of not being clear about his feelings. He, strung her along. He was not. And then as soon as he found the girl that he really liked, he dropped her like a hot potato. You know what I'm saying? And then she was still cleaving and holding on to the little bit of crumbs that he was giving her. So I don't want somebody to go into a situation right after that, somebody who is already a self-confessed slow burner, takes them a while to feel, and then you put them with somebody else who may or may not treat them the right way. I don't trust Nick. I don't. Now, I hope he proves me wrong. Like, I don't wish them unwell. I'm not like, oh, I hate them. I don't want it to work. It's horrible. No. But I am saying I got my side eye on him because that's not how he showed up all this time. And now it's like, here we are 3 weeks later, and he's like, oh, I've seen the light, and I've always wanted you. It's always been you. The switch up to me is a little bit much, but I hope to be wrong. It's not one of those things where I'm like, I don't want it. I just want us to also be cautious too before we are ready to just jump and, we start shipping them left and right.
All right, Shadell, listen, I appreciate your opinion, but in the words of El Cid, stretch before you reach. Because right now you're going to make me get the clip out on Nick, and I don't want to, but you're making me get the clip out on him. I mean, look, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but look, that manipulative charm of him. I've seen it too many times. He presents as very smooth, relaxed, easy to talk to, but he does that emotional misdirection where he says the right things to multiple women, but then he rarely backs them with action. So then you expect us to believe that all of a sudden he's seen the light with Alandria. Like, no, miss me with that. No, like he avoids accountability like it's a full-time job. He gets defense when he's confronted. He gets defensive of actually apologizing, then redirects the energy towards how other people are interpreting things rather than owning his behavior. Like saying stuff like, you're misunderstanding me. That's not what I meant. I don't want drama. Then he withdraws. His tone becomes flatter, colder, performatively unbothered. And that's the type of person that Alandria wants to choose to be with. Hey, I'm not saying that Nick can't change, but it's just the fast switch up with how lustful he was acting. And now all of a sudden you expect us to believe that he's going to be all the way. No, I struggle to believe in that, especially when a guy has shown you what he is like with other women. That's why I struggle to believe that he really is genuine. If there is a guy who's scamming, if there is a guy who's disingenuous, I would put that more on Nick than I would on Brian. I'll give you that. That doesn't mean I'll.
Just be careful, because I got in trouble last time about saying Nick was sexualizing her. They told me I'm wrong, you know, although that man had her whole foot in his mouth. But we're not going to talk about that. But go ahead, Shade.
I don't know the example that you're speaking about, Jeff, where he avoids accountability. Are you speaking about maybe conversations he's had with Sierra?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And that's fine. I see where Shauna, you are coming from. Like, I mean, it is what it is. I think we can agree to disagree, and it's fine. And to your point, Sean, I did hear what you meant about Olandria. Because she's fallen, it's going to be hard for her to see like the light if he does switch up on her. I completely agree with you on that. That is something that I would worry about. But she's a whole adult. Like, so, I mean, she doesn't know me personally for me to be in her hair, but I feel as though she has an opportunity to see where it goes. I feel it would be detrimental because all of this is circumstantial. All of this is, hypothetical. We don't know. No, at all. But if it is someone that will cherish her, then yeah, we want to, encourage it. And I know people are like, you're contradicting yourself because you're saying they can't get married, or this is not for marriage, but this is just for the villa, but you're riding so hard for them. Guys, like, it's entertainment TV. Like, I'm not, I'm enjoying it, and I'm not enjoying her pain because I have not seen her experience pain with Nick. I'm just encouraging someone that has so far for Olandria has treated her well. And that is what I'm supporting. So, I mean, for those parameters, that's what I'm standing on. But you're absolutely right, Jeff and Sean, that it's a possibility that he's a scammer. And you guys have seen that more so than the shippers and the investigators. So that's fine. I think that, it is what it is. We can agree to disagree.
So I have a musical rendering from a song.
Oh, no.
How did we get here? Nobody's supposed to be here. I tried that love thing for the last time. How did we get here back on Nicolandria?
Y'all don't want to send me the link, so I'm
How
just
did
checking.
we get here? Not you. Now you was over here. You had a lot to say about Huda. You not taking no accountability. You talk about it's my fault for sending you the link. No.
I am an unapologetic Nicolandria stan, a supporter. I'm unapologetic about it.
And
you
now
see how this accountability don't be working? This is why I say stop.
What accountability would you like me to take? That I helped stare us here?
Sean, now you know why I call her the female Eastern.
What accountability? I'm willing to listen. What accountability should I take on? I'm curious.
These squirrel allegations, because it's really leading to that.
No.
That's it, Shade. I don't know how, but it's like we gonna get to the Nicolandria of it all. They didn't make it. Okay. Didn't I ask you on the last live we were on Wednesday? Are you gonna be okay if they don't win the money? They didn't win the money.
She don't even care about the money.
I need you to be okay
for her.
Oh, it's now. No, she don't care now because they lost, but now she's on to still defending them.
The fact that they came in second place, while everybody's worried about Huda, y'all need to be concerned about these Nicolandria people. I'm dead serious. The Nicolandria people, I'm more concerned for. Because why the F? What the F? And what for?
Listen. I appreciate my stands in the Nicolandria stands in the chat. Guys, it's a movement that you can't stop. I'm so sorry. There was enough of us to vote them into the second place.
But it's over. They lost.
Well, so they won for us.
What hill are you dying on now?
No, the Nicolandria people concern me. And then you lucky Kojo not up here because you called a black man a dusty, but you want Nicolandria. Oh, Kojo would have went in.
Oh, because I called him a brokey. Yeah. No, yeah. I told you I'm on Chris's side. Like, I am, genuinely speaking. Like, I don't and I mean, I'll apologize if it hurts somebody's feelings. I apologize, but
You
I
good.
mean, see ways. I mean, you co-signed a little bit. I'm not trying to throw you into my stuff, but I'm just
Oh,
saying
no.
we
I didn't say
absolutely.
I disagree.
Oh,
I
you
just
got some hood
Yeah.
issues
no,
today.
I didn't
Look
say
at you.
I'm Sade, I'm with you what you right when you right. I'm just saying you're not beating the allegations.
See, y'all Nicolandrians got some of the hood rats in you too, because you gonna fight to the end with that. She's like, I'm not going down by myself.
But one thing
Ride
about
or
Sade
die.
I like, she's proud of Nicolandria, and I announced that I'm from Huda HQ, and so I can always deal with people who are operating in good faith. If you
Thank
operating
you.
in good faith,
I appreciate you. I
the
respect
hood
you. Thank
rat
you. I
and
respect
Pretty
that.
Assassin are a concerning bunch. I'm not gonna say they're not. I think there's concerning fan bases. There's also the concerning fan base that wants to ride for Jeremiah so hard they booted Ace and Chelly off. They're concerning too. There's a lot of concerning people.
Y'all, we just got Seaway to a calm level, even place. Let's not stress her out no more.
I appreciate her take on stuff though, because I feel like these conversations are very, very, very important and valuable because she has valid points and a perspective that I just can't see. But then when the way that she's able to present it, like I'm like, okay, I can see that, and bring humanity to something that I had just crossed off my list, and I was like, yeah, she's unreachable, or these group of people are unreachable. And I'm not trying to win anyone over. I'm just trying to represent a group that I really enjoy. I honestly I've been kicking my feet, giggling at all the things, and I hope it's not at the expense of Olandria or in a unhealthy way. But I feel like that's what it's about. If we're going to watch reality TV, it should bring some positive emotions out of us, and of course it's an escape from our lives and whatnot. But if it's going to bring some type of joy, I'm all for it. So that's really why I stand it, because I feel like that's what I've witnessed from my interactions with people, even online, not even just like the people of Nick and Olandria, but just like the interaction and stuff. It's fun, it's cute, but to your point, Seaway and Sean and Jeffrey, like, we do need to be very cautious about how much support we're throwing blindly. Like, there needs to be some type of awareness of what unhealthy support that we're giving. So I get that, and I appreciate you guys for bringing that to the forefront in
Yeah,
these
I definitely think
conversations.
they're looking to America, like usually they're thinking like, okay, if America co-signs it, then that means it's a good idea. And unfortunately, I think because we put so much of our own triggers and life experiences into things, that it kind of guides us. Because I do think a lot of women, especially a lot of like educated Black women, have dealt with a nice guy kind of like Taylor, who moved like Taylor, and then found another woman, and it's kind of, you can't really figure out like what it is about her that he liked her more, and then kind of leave you to the side. And I think that triggered a lot of women. It triggered them so bad that they kind of pushed this Nicolandria thing. I'm not saying there are other reasons why Nicolandria people pushed it, but I just think there's a lot of triggers in Love Island in general, and I just don't want the support of Nicolandria to be taken as it was a good idea, because right now I'm not seeing it as a good idea at all. But maybe Nick will surprise me.
Hey,
I know he will, Chris. I know he will. I'm
if
just joking.
if the Nicolandrians they like it, well, I'm not gonna love it. But hey, if you guys love it, love it till the wheels fall off.
Thank you.
Oh, you got the petty in you. Now you crept up with Chris. You gonna have the last word, huh, Shade?
No, I'm saying thank you because I genuinely I genuinely mean it. I was gonna say something and I'm so sorry I lost my train of thought. I was gonna say that I can't remember. I'm sorry.
And we need to stop generalizing, because everybody a part of Huda HQ ain't racist. I've been meaning to say that.
Well, that's why I think you are unfairly lumping yourself in as Huda HQ, because
I'm in Huda HQ, but I ain't racist.
you ain't really voting for her though.
I mean, but that's the difference between me and Nicolandria people. I'm not finna take it that far. I could be
And
a
that's
part of
why you're not. That's why you're not a full fledged. Because those people over there, they are all locked in.
They are
The
Who
crazy
hood
said
rats, the
that
crazy.
she
real
could have
ones,
been with the cameraman
they are.
Okay,
and
well,
they
if
would have
that
voted for her?
if that's the
Anybody that looks at her
requirements,
sideways, they come into their comments and go crazy. Those people are.
okay. If that's the requirements in the admission to Huda HQ, then I am not a member because I did not vote for Huda. I voted for Amaya and Brian. So
That's crazy.
I
See,
remembered what I was gonna say. I was gonna say that
wait, hold
there's a
on. I'm
what's up?
gonna say this, and then I'm gonna have to block you too, say Franny, because you're being obtuse. So you got one more time. I said from the beginning that the stuff that Huda HQ did was wild. The people, and it's not all Huda HQ, it's the person that made that meme and picture. And I said it was racist and it was ridiculous. Why do me as a black woman need to say that 5 billion times? That's obvious. So you don't know what I see. Y'all don't even know me. Half of y'all are new, and some of y'all are agitated and new. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, people in the chat. I'm gonna just say this. You come for Seaway, expect to get smoked. That's what I'm gonna say.
They don't know me at all. They don't know any of these people. That's the problem with the Love Island. They just speak on people like they know people. They don't know. They don't know what you done spoke out against. They don't know how you feel about it. They don't even ask you a question. Well, then you acting like you knew. If you don't think I have a problem with a George Floyd picture, you have to be new. You have to be. If you think I didn't have a problem with that picture, you got to be new. Ain't nobody who been here. That wouldn't even be a conversation. Not about me.
well, I think the beauty out of all of this is that we did get some clarity, and that you have cleared it up that you don't blindly support anybody. So
Never have. And the people who ain't new know that.
Oh Lord. Would you now? This is probably the little part of you that do see a little bit for Huda. This why?
Oh yeah, I do, because
you're gonna tussle to the end.
If you take me there, I'm running around the village just like her. Just leave me alone.
Hey, but at least you're not a Nicolandria. That's all I'm
No,
saying.
you will not. I have known you for probably 4 years now. For over 4 years at this point. I can attest that you and Huda, there's some overlap in some of the reactiveness, but that's probably about it. You ain't know.
See, Crystal B says she and Huda HQ and voted for Amaya. Exactly. There's levels to this.
See, okay, so I'm glad we found some unity amongst.
What the hell? What the hell would we be voting for Huda and Chris for? First of all, if Chris would have
say Brokey, I'm just joking.
Because if Chris would have
leave Chris alone. Leave Chris alone.
I'm sorry.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
Well, Kojo ain't here tonight. If you ain't noticed, so maybe you want to come back another day.
I swear.
I'm sorry, I didn't see Kojo up here, so perhaps she should come back tomorrow.
I swear, if I hear Brokey one more time, man.
Homeless? I'm trying to think of the right word. That's crossing the line. It's crossing the line. Sorry.
Wait, what you say? What y'all say?
I was lost. My head was spinning.
Not you overstimulated.
No, I'm not overstimulated. Not this time. I just trying to find a path to peace.
Yeah,
I'm finding it very hard.
I was just saying,
I feel like Chris when he was looking out across the waters after him and Huda broke up, and he was like, "What should I do?" You know. But I would never do that because that was rude as hell. I would never leave a lady to just walk in that water like that. Honestly, the petty part of me laughed, but the other part of me felt horrible. Horrible. Because I'm like, bro, why are you going to carry her so lovingly across the waters to the date, but tell her, well, I ain't carrying you back.
Then encourage her to break up with you and then say ho walk back.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
He let his, as Kojo loves to, he let his dark art shine for sure in that moment. I think that is top 5 petty moments when he stood in the water. He held his hand for her. It's like, bro, what? He was like, but I ain't carrying you though. I'm like, yo,
You.
Oh, listen,
the switch up was crazy.
I can be a little bit petty, so I actually appreciate that a little bit from Chris. I know it's not right. It's not right. It's not right. It's not right. But I'm just saying. But oh my days! If I hear brokey one more time, that brokey. Listen, I think
Apologies. I'll refrain from using that word. But I don't think that
listen.
he was being petty by not carrying her. I actually don't. I think that
What was that? He was being kind? He was being nice?
no, I think he extended his hand because she knew that she needed help crossing, and she didn't want to take that. And so it's not like she said, "Can you please carry me?" As a request. She's like, "Carry me," like as in. That's what I got from it. Maybe I need to rewatch the scene. But you just broke up with him. Not to say he didn't initiate, like he wasn't wishing for that. To Cecil's point, like I feel like he was asking for her to break up with him so he wouldn't look like the villain and doing it himself.
Didn't you see he carried her across to get there?
Yes, he did. I did see that.
And then he said, I'm not carrying her. I'm not carrying you back.
Yeah, but he wasn't trying to abandon her. He had still extended his hand as a gesture to let me help you. But to carry someone, I feel as though...
Why would he not carry her back if he carried her there?
I feel like he was trying to put his... I'm going to explain it. Brian said, I would put my best foot... He said I would put my best foot forward. They agreed that he would put his best foot forward to show up to the date in the best way possible. So he was still trying to be romantic by carrying her there. She doesn't need anyone to carry her. It's not, if that was the case, they would not have put the table there in the middle of the water like that if it was not reachable. He was being romantic.
Are you trying to stress me out?
I'm trying, but you are literally doing this is a reach. This is on.
I disagree, guys. I don't think production would have put the table in front of a random lake. He was able to walk. And yes, she has heels, but I feel like that would have been disingenuous for them to put the table in a position that neither of them could get to independently. So I think he was being romantic by carrying her.
Hold on.
Did she not leave that place on her own? Was she not able to walk?
She took off her shoes. She had to take off her shoes so she didn't break her ankle.
Exactly. But she was still able to get away from there on her own.
Right. I think you're making a point that's not a point, because it's not about it being impossible for her to cross, but it's the fact that it was petty for him to say no when he did in fact carry her there. And he could have at the very
least he was being romantic. The act of carrying her was romantic. He was not going to be romantic again. That's the point I'm trying to make. Him carrying her was a romantic gesture. So he was ready to be romantic in the beginning. At the end, they had broken things off. He was not willing to be romantic again, but he was willing to help her across so she would not fall by extending his hand. He wanted more, which he was not willing to do, and therefore that's why he left her. Him leaving her or what have you, I'm not saying it wasn't because he felt some type of way, but I'm not going to say like he was being mean or petty because he didn't carry her. That's all I'm saying.
Lord. I just hope y'all hold the men in y'all lives to these standards. If a man does this to you and he takes you to the club, but he gets annoyed with you and he leaves you there and you're a grown person and you can Uber back, I hope you say that he's not petty.
I mean, because it's like you're on one end of the spectrum. Okay, he's being romantic, so he's being a gentleman. You don't stop being a gentleman just because you don't get things your way. You don't stop doing that. I get the fact that Chris could have been pissed off. I get the fact that he was upset. Again, I'm the same one saying that his emotional needs were not met, but there's still an expectation of you to hold frame. So if you're not going to be abandoning someone that you led towards the table and then just leave her there, of course it's going to be seen as petty.
He didn't just leave her, guys. Remember, he extended his hand and she rejected it and she wanted him to carry her without asking him politely. I think that's what we're forgetting.
Because I'm assuming, Sade, you worn heels. I'm going to assume before. If you're wearing heels and you're walking on water, rocks, and pebbles, it does not help if someone extends their hand because you still cannot walk in heels on water, rock, and pebbles. The hand does not help. I think you're missing that. It's not like, oh, I need help up and down a staircase. She's walking on big, giant size rocks, water, and pebbles. It's either get carried or walk barefoot, or you're going to break your ankle. And he knew that. Him taking her over there was darn near necessity. It wasn't romantic. They put that table in the middle of something that low-key is a hazard.
Then it's production's fault.
Okay, well then it's production's fault. You can add production, but he's still being a DICK, and that to me shouldn't even be up for debate. He did that on purpose. He was being petty.
Yeah, I don't know why that's even debate. Like, I don't get what that's about. Like, why would we even have to debate that? I think, like, and not just you, Shade, but just everyone in general who feels like, well, he shouldn't have had to. And I agree. It doesn't. There's like, we can't. Just things exist in different compartments, right? It can't be we don't support Chris and Huda, so he shouldn't be nice. You know, he can break up with her, agree that they shouldn't be together, put a boundary on her behavior, but he can still be a nice person. You know, I think like those two things can exist, and I think that's what we're saying. Even Jeff and myself, who really don't support Huda being with anyone, are acknowledging, and listen, I thought it was funny, but I also thought in the same hand, it was very petty. It's very petty. Like, it is passive aggressive, especially when you picked her up to get there. You said nothing. And that is, and I think this is the biggest problem. I think people feel like, I think this is what it is. People feel like when somebody does them harm, that it's okay for them to be passive aggressive. And just because you chose to not say anything up until the final moment, you feel like the ends justify the means. And it doesn't. It doesn't. You can still be wrong in a moment where somebody harmed you or did you wrong. And just by doing that, it's mean because you knew that you set the precedence that you were going to carry her. You guys agreed. He told her, make a choice. Of course, he's permitted to say no. Anybody can do whatever they want. I don't understand why we're stating the obvious. Yeah, I can say no. I can say yes. I can end the live right now, and it could be all over, and we would have no finality. But that would be a stupid thing to do for me to do, right? If I just said, y'all are getting on my nerves, I'm ending the live right now. I could do it, right? But me doing that doesn't make sense because it doesn't justify it still is wrong.
Yeah.
So I think people have to understand being passive aggressive is also. Yeah, I muted myself. When people do that, you harbor things inside, and you think you're doing somebody a favor because you're not telling them how you really feel. So you harbor it inside, and then once you've reached your capacity, you unleash, whether it's in a big way or a small passive aggressive way. But you're doing yourself a disservice because Chris should have said how he felt weeks ago, but he didn't. He chose to ask Huda for a kiss and pat her on the head.
Facts. It was days ago, child. I know. Last week seems like a month ago. I hear what you guys are saying. You're right. I mean, if he wanted to be extend that grace, but someone said in the audience, is he her slave? I think everyone has different perspective and boundaries. And I see where you guys are coming from, because to see Way's point, yeah, I don't want a dude that I came with to abandon me. Like, you're not a great guy. Like, you not concerned for my safety, however mad you are at me. And I think that's why a lot of people commended, just a quick diversion, how people commended Ace and Chelly, because they had an argument, but he was still bringing her breakfast. So I feel like, yes, there's a certain type of gentleman that even if you're not seeing eye to eye or you're in conflict, he will still show up as if you were on good standing. So I get that. I get what you guys are saying.
That's really when I can tell you Ace turned it around for me, because as a person, you know, I'm married now, and I think in my time, I have done a good job of now parsing out good and bad men. And a really good sign of a good man is a man that speaks to you in kindness and does for you regardless of how he feels. And to me, Ace doing that really moved the needle for me, because I know Sean's been married. I'm married. One thing I say all the time, and one thing I know married people recommend, and people in general recommend, your character doesn't move or shift based on how other people treat you. Your character is your character. So if you're the type of man that would carry a woman across to make sure she's safe, you're the same man that carries her back. And the concerning part is that the men and some women realize that Chris doing that is a very bad thing. But there's so many women who I see finding excuses for that. And that's concerning to me, because I feel like as women, we have to do a good job of parsing out good and bad men. And to me, when we let things like that slide, or we make excuses for that type of behavior because you don't like the woman or you don't like something, you're missing important signs. And what I'm saying is an important sign of a good man, his character should never break. He should be who he is. And that to me was concerning, that he wanted to make a point. Not only has he been passive aggressive most of the show, he wanted to make a point to humble her and leave her there after he's the one who pushed her to actually break up with him. Very concerning behavior, in my opinion. And so, yeah, I'm going to call that out. And in 5516, I think you're trying to get Sean and I's attention. And so you have it now. We're on a panel talking about a show. And so Sean as a man is going to talk about men and women. And me as a woman, I'm going to talk about men and women. If you have found yourself in the wrong location, you can relocate. But that's what we're doing here. You have your 5 seconds of attention. Please go away.
You are very skillful to read the chat and, talk so eloquently. I couldn't do it.
That's his 10th comment, looking for attention.
Yeah.
He wrote 7 comments to Sean, 4 comments to me, looking for attention. And so I want to oblige. He has my attention. And so I hope he's satisfied now.
All right. I'm going to say this, is that, okay, 66, I'm going to say this as a guy. You are allowed an opinion, but no one here is trying to dictate or control anybody's actions. We're on a panel, we're speaking our piece, and we're just talking about best practice. Okay, as someone who was championing Chris and likes him, it's about holding accountability on both sides and not creating some situation where we are looking at things from a one-sided point of view all the time, because it's so easy to do that. If you can't see the nuances in relationships, then hey, chances are you may not be ready for a relationship in general. I'm speaking to anyone here. If everyone is looking to just look at one side of the spectrum and not look at the other side, then there is lack of balance. So Chris, yes, there are things that he did that was fantastic. There were things that he was doing that was great. But in the areas where he fell short, he was passive aggressive. What he did with Huda in that situation was passive aggressive. You don't get to do that. You don't get to operate outside of frame. And I understand, because a lot of people will feel vindicated. A lot of Chris' behavior felt vindicated. Yo, Huda's been treating him disrespectfully. Huda's not been giving him the attention he wants. Huda's not been giving him the emotion. We get that. However, there's what's right and there's what's wrong. And regardless of your feelings, regardless of your emotions, there's always what is expected of you to do the right thing, point blank, period. Especially if we're now saying that men are meant to be leaders and you're meant to be leading by example. So in that situation, Chris was wrong. It was funny to watch, but I'm not going to say that it was right. I'm not going to say that it's something that should have been done, but it was wrong for him to do so. You don't take somebody over to a table and then afterwards leave them hanging because you got pissed off by them. You don't get to do that. You don't get to do that no matter how justified you feel in your actions. That is all that we're saying. And it doesn't mean that Huda is scot-free from accountability either. Both people are, again, they have to be accountable for different things in different situations. I don't think that is, I don't think that's like far stretched to say, to be honest. I don't think it is.
No, you're right. Seaway is also right. And integrity is actually very important to me too. With someone's character, you are the same in private as you are in public, and you show up as the person that you're trying to be. And I think that everyone has their arc of growth. So Chris hasn't reached that, obviously. I was trying to your point, Seaway, I don't like Huda, so that's probably why I also didn't see it as him trying to be petty. I think he had enough, and that was probably his last strike. But No, to your point about being a man and showing up regardless of how others treat you, it's very difficult to do. It's a very rare quality. You may want to do that, but in the moment, emotions might be heightened and you just will not react in the way that you're supposed to, even though you may, aim to or aspire to. So I saw it from different perspectives, but as you guys have rightly so worded it, you're right. He should have, been able to, I don't blame him, but he should have been able to show up and do the right thing to that aspect. I wanted to also say, I feel like Chris is going through a lot with the whole parent showing up and his mom and sister not really coming to his aid. I think Siwe pointed to that. Like he was looking for them to give him an out. I think he was just crying for help. I mean, he did melt in his mom's arms. So I feel for Chris in that way. I think that the situation is very tense in the villa because Nick was like, I'm in a dark spot. And whenever I was in the dark, I'm like, when were you in the dark? But they're going through things that we can't see. And we're only seeing an hour and some change of their 24 hours. And even in some cases, 48 hours. So we're seeing 1 hour, 48 hours. So there's a lot that we don't see. And so graces needs to be extended to all participants, all islanders, Huda included, everybody, because we just don't know. So I feel as though Chris was probably at his breaking point, and I'm glad that he did not show up as an angry Black man. I'm glad that, and I hope that people do give him grace online. Everyone has a lot of learning to do. A lot of people did better than others. But I think that it's important to see these nuances and point it out. People are layered. So I appreciate this panel very much so, because I'm enjoying the us conversing and, hearing different viewpoints. I'm learning a lot from you guys. So I really appreciate it. But I'm going to bounce.
You. What you said?
Thank you. I'm going to bounce out. It's kind of late here. I'm sure it is for you all as well. Because, tomorrow's Monday. We got to wake up for them checks. So I can wait if there's any wrap up or if you guys need me to.
No, I'm about to now, Ludwin. I know you, who I know be on Team Crash Out, ain't talking about a crash out. See, this is what I be talking about. I already know Ludwin on Team Crash Out, but she got the most to say in these comments about Huda. Come on now.
Please don't get
reactivated. This is what I be talking about. Come on now.
I'm loving it.
I can't say that I was a little bit shocked by Ludwig's take on Huda.
Ludwig, come on now. Come on.
I guess you know what? There's so many things going on that people are cross mixing them. She says she's all for the chaos.
I'm about to say, Ludwig, my girl. Come on now. I'm like, come on.
I guess some people feel like it reaches a point, and me too. Hey, I'm raising my hand. I too feel like it came to a point tonight. I was like, we finally came to a point, and Chris just had it, and I get it. But I don't know why it had to be like such a fuss and a kerfuffle in the comments about us calling this guy petty.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't think that would be the thing that would cause a kerfuffle amongst some people. I didn't know it was that debatable that he was petty for not carrying her. Now, again, he's free will. He don't have to do anything. But why we got to get into the, that I didn't think that was going to take us down the path of, the gender wars. And we're going to start talking about simping. Somebody talk about simping. It's like, how we get to simping because he didn't carry her across the water when he brought her there? Like, that to me is crazy. Like, I just think I said it in the beginning, and I guess maybe, we've been on live now almost 3 hours. So in the beginning, I asked that we all take a collective deep breath together, and just kind of realize we're talking about a show. We're talking about different topics. I know there's some things that touch on race. They touch on politics, and it gets our backs up. It talks about gender relationships, and we want to fight and we want to tussle. I don't think it's so debatable that a guy not carrying somebody over that he did carry after they broke up, it was petty for him to not carry her. I don't know. Let's not fight about that.
Then he want to send her
I would have done the same thing.
He want to send her a beautiful little note later after he left her stranded for dead on that little.
on that
That was
table.
great on both of their parts. Because it could have ended. Because I've been like, for what? Why do I need to write a love note? I've just broken up with you for what?
Can I just get to the evolution of this conversation? I really want to get to the point where people actually clock that Chris, aside from him just having enough of Huda, was already problematic. This man came into the villa, saw everything that Huda had going on. That's not to say that, you know, he didn't have a right to give her a chance. Came in there, picked her, and then proceeded to lie to her about his real feelings or how he felt. And he didn't have proper communication the whole time. Was doing passive aggressive stuff the whole time. People talk about he had enough. Huda looked like she had enough of him too. Like, he's not just the only. He's not the only victim.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
I'm gonna draw. Okay, and Sean, please do not shoot me if I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna draw a parallel between Married at First Sight, Alan and Madison, Chris and Huda. We can say the same in regards to Alan being passive aggressive, right? And in some sense, when you are trying to do everything right and your needs are not getting met and you don't communicate that properly, of course you're gonna have passive aggressive tendencies. Is that right? No. So there is a problem. And of course, passive aggressiveness is a problem, considering for guys where we could take it to, which we can't afford to be. I'm not saying that we don't have a right to be pissed off and Chris doesn't have a right to be pissed off. However, where it can go, of course, it can be dangerous. It can be. I'm just simply saying that I can understand the passive aggressive behavior when you feel like you don't get your needs met. And yes, he should have communicated. Yes, he shouldn't have done what he did. But I guess we can identify that a little bit more. And I think a lot of people tend to give those who feel like, this guy's going above and beyond and he's doing this and he's doing that, a lot more grace than someone who just seemingly ain't even trying at all, like Huda.
I get it.
And
yeah,
I mean,
I think his needs weren't met. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Sean.
I think we all, and listen, it was a hotly debated thing on this channel with Alan and talking about his, behavior and how he was carrying on and acting volatilely when he was kicking cabinets and tearing up the vacation house. You know what I mean? For those that don't watch Married at First Sight, that was one of the things. Although we understood, right, that the situation that he was in was terrible, having the person he was paired up in, the woman, cheat on him with another castmate. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think we've always been in the space where we'll call out behaviors and we'll still be like, hey, what you did was passive aggressive. You don't have to do anything. But at the end of the day, it was petty. It was petty to not carry somebody, especially if you did carry them. And there is no, I saw a double S16 talking about kissing somebody before and after sex. That ain't this. You know what I'm saying? What? That's just a simple act, a simple, kind act. It's not anything more than kindness. And I think, listen, this is going to be my PSA around us men. Like, if we want better relationships with women, we need to really like women. You know what I mean? Like them. If you like a woman, you can realize y'all shouldn't be together, but still treat her nicely. If you really like a woman, you're not going to look to get something out of her when you know it's not really something that you want to be in long term. Even if it's uncomfortable for you, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? And like, if you like a woman, like, that simp word was made by men. If you care what other men think about how you treat women, that's something to think about. I don't care about what another man thinks about how I treat a woman that I'm with. That we shouldn't be measuring, our measuring stick shouldn't be what another man says about me. If another man says I'm a simp, if another man calls me weak, I don't care. I don't like men romantically. So if I like women romantically, I'm going to be more invested in what they think and treating them well and aligning myself with women that treat me the way I want to be treated. Right. And moving on from the ones that don't. Period. So I think, like, we need to stop with these terms, we need to release ourselves from it. See what I said earlier, we need to release ourselves from calling everybody a narcissist. Very true. We also need to release ourselves as men from really being beholden to what other men think about us.
And I really wish the women would release themselves from being male identified pick-me's, but we not gonna get there either. And so,
Can't fix
Uh,
everybody.
you
I,
can't
I
fix
think
every. What
One
is
brick at a time. You know,
what did
it's
Harriet Tubman
one
say?
brick at a time.
She would have freed a lot more people if they knew that they were slaves. That's how I be feeling about the pick-me.
Ooh.
I be like,
Keep
Dag,
on it.
we could really just level up on men and get better men, but there's so many women who are so happy to be complacent to bare minimum men and misogyny that they're even willing to acquiesce and agree to the mistreatment of women to feel better. Honestly, the only reason why so many women get online and complain about men, and I don't even want to hear it, because honestly, men are only doing that because of male-centered women that I see all the time in these comments. And it be the women who aren't like that who always have the best men. None of the male-centered women I see, they all have raggedy men because they think that it's cool for a man to take a woman to a place and then have her walk in 4-inch heels on rocks because her feet works. And a lot of these women don't even wear heels, so they don't even realize this. They're wearing flats to dates. So perhaps,
See,
Oh,
they don't understand.
LOL.
really?
well,
These
LOL.
are the
listen.
same
Before
ones
we go
wearing
there,
sneakers and
I
flats
just
to dates.
I just want to let some steam because listen, I haven't gone in these rants for a while, but patriarchy exists because of men. So as much as women don't, need to release themselves from it and be more self-aware, if men don't hold the standard, and if men don't, and especially us as black men, if we're not the ones holding each other accountable, that's what we should be focused on: accountability on how men are treating women in a system where women are oppressed, right? We are higher above it than they are in terms of the patriarchy. So I think we need to be looking more at that. Yes, underneath that layer is women not subscribing to putting men on this pedestal and then like signing off on bad behavior just for the sake of being in proximity to us. But I do think that us men, we bear the weight, and
I
we got to be
100%
able to pull
agree.
each other out.
Let me add something to that, Sean. I think as someone who's because you're talking about breaking down patriarchy, I'm gonna say this is like, if we are saying that we're leaders, we have to lead by example even when we don't want to. And also, if you're gonna be in a relationship, be with someone that likes you as you like them. Stop trying to be looking for power dynamics. Stop trying to feel like you can control the situation. Just focus on being with someone who likes you for you. And this whole, I don't even like the word simp, and I get the whole, but it's become so conflated with any form of just showing love and gratitude and consideration to someone that you are in a relationship with. And look, there's a difference. We know there's a difference between idolatry and worship versus I get that, but personally, I get sick and tired about these terminologies that it does more harm, because at one end of the spectrum, this is one of the reasons why we as men can never evolve. We can never have a place where we can be comprehensive about how we express emotion, because there's always an expectation to be a certain type of thing. To please who exactly? When I'm not looking to go out with a guy, I'm looking to be with the person that I love. So I think it's just time that we just get away from that. Focus on people who like you for you. You show love towards them, they show love towards you, and you keep it pushing. Point blank, because I'm just getting sick and tired of this nonsense.
Yeah, and I agree. I think Sean also, the thing is that the audience here is predominantly women, and then the men on this audience don't really apply to what I'm talking about. The men on this panel, I should say. I think you guys, I know, Sean, you've done a lot of work on dismantling the patriarchy and talking about that, and Jeff has done nothing but be, from here, for what I've seen, be positive and not subscribe to that. And so the only people I've actually seen kind of laying into that have been some of the women, and that's why my comment was directed there. But to be clear, the people in charge of the patriarchy, of course, are the men in the patriarchal system. But it always disappoints me, and I think that goes to that saying about Harriet Tubman and the slaves. The black people who didn't know they were slaves, and the women who didn't know that they were acquiescing to that system. And that's all I'm saying. But of course, you know, the buck stops with the men. But I do think women don't realize how we participate. So this is me like speaking to other women. We don't know how we don't. I don't even think a lot of us realize how we participate in the system by centering men and needing so much validation. We need so much validation. When I say we, I don't mean me, but a lot of us need a lot of validation from men, and it's not helpful. What men specifically, Seaway? The ones that they're trying to impress. Black men, white men, yellow men, purple men, whoever's in their gaze, they're trying to impress. Yep.
Okay. So we've had our TED Talk. I don't know that we're going to reach complete alignment, but I think the general idea was that it's okay to call out somebody's behavior or call out an instance where someone did something we feel was incorrect. It doesn't negate that they were done wrong in other capacities. You know, some people might not think it's petty. Hey, I don't know. Maybe look up the definition of what petty is. You might feel, and I think that's how we can better have a conversation too, is like you might feel like some, even on the panel, including myself, would say, I can understand why they would have done it, right? I too might have made the same choice, but I can also realize and acknowledge that it probably wasn't the best option. You know what I mean? Like, that's okay. But if you want to justify somebody being petty, then the ends doesn't always justify the means. And just because somebody treated you some way doesn't always mean, okay, you get to do whatever you want back. Hey, that's my thought, especially as a man in relation to women. But if we can't agree on that at the base level, then, you know, I guess we'll just agree to disagree. But what I will say is we can all agree that it's time to go to bed and wrap this up before we circle the drain. So I'll give everybody
in the comments, I'm sure.
Seaway,
we will give everyone their 2-minute closing remarks. We made it through the live without stressing me out too much, without me being rattled and getting my blood pressure up. So I think that's a great place to close us off. So 2 minutes closing remarks. Who wants to go first?
I will. I don't have much else to say other than what I've already said. I would just wanted to make sure that you saw my response to you, Sean, in the chat, in this group chat here. But I really enjoyed the discussion. I appreciate the panelists for giving their perspective very respectfully. And, you know, those in the comments, you know, I appreciate, you know, your input and what was shared. I feel like these discussions are very healthy for, especially for our, you know, Black culture, to definitely see people's perspectives, how different impressions we have on different demographics as well as ethnicities. So I've enjoyed this discussion. This is my first time, you know, even being online having this discussion, and it was due to this phenomenon that of that shall not be named. I feel like I'm in enemy territory. I can't even say their name, but I really did enjoy my first experience with you. Also, I do want to thank you for that. I've seen a lot of Kojo's lives. I'm not really into the Married at First Sight. I've seen a few seasons, but I feel as though the discussions that you guys do have around that are very instrumental and very needed. And Love Island may not be on the same caliber because they're not serious with their lives, but it is good to dissect people's interactions and just, you know, sociology of it all. Like, how do people interact and what can we draw from that? So I do appreciate the time here. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week. And God bless you guys. And thank you, Kojo, whenever you have an opportunity to see this.
I need you to come back for Ready to Love. I love your diverse perspectives.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna go next before I hit the hate. Yeah, I really appreciate the conversation that was had, like the back and forth and stuff. That was pretty cool. I think just my takeaway from the situation is, like, from the characters that you were able to identify with in Love Island, I'll simply say that if there were any aspects that triggered people or any aspects that they can identify with, I think it's always good to have an introspective moment to see in your own personal life, whether it be if you're in relationships of your own or wanting to be in a relationship, what are the things that you contribute? What are the things that you normally do that could be a problem that you might need to address? So I think when it comes to picking off sides, always ask yourself, why am I on this particular side? Is it in the right or is it in the wrong? And I think the more you question yourself, the more you look at this yourself, the better you are closer towards the truth, rather than staying in a place of being vindicated. And I'm saying this towards myself because, yes, I can feel right about certain behaviors that I see shown, but that doesn't necessarily mean that my response has to go towards the negative. If we're all pushing towards healthy relationships, it does require an examination of the self. So that's just all I want to say.
Well, I guess I'll go before Sean gives his benediction. I think kind of what I take away from this is that just being mindful that Love Island in many ways is kind of akin to a very nice jail and a bit of an experiment. They're away from their family. They don't have phones, you know, and they're in very difficult positions and plastered for the world to see. And, you know, I think we have to remember the humanity of everybody on the show and kind of realize that we may be getting the best of them and some of the worst of them. Um, and just understand that going forward. But I do think that whether we're seeing some of their worst or some of their best, I think to Jeff's final words, there's definitely something to be learned from everybody. There's something to kind of look at yourself about. If someone is super, you like someone a lot or you dislike someone a lot, I definitely feel like there's lessons and things to be learned from all of the characters there. And I think if we look at it like that and not look at it as I'm going to condemn this person, seek retribution from this person, try to demand accountability from this person, and really just look at it as an escape from your life and the BS that you got to deal with or the BS that you're contributing to, but also as a learning opportunity. And that's how I look at it, and just not take stuff, you know, so seriously, because at the end of the day, ain't nobody got to fall out about a whole bunch of people that you don't know. That's all my thoughts.
Yes, and I just want to start by thanking everybody tonight. Thank you, Shade. Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, Seaway. For really lending your diverse perspectives, your opinions, and us having a good go at it. I was not expecting to be on here for over 3 hours. I thought this was going to be an hour and a half, maybe 2 at best. But I think our conversations hopefully are thought-provoking. Although there were points where we disagreed, I think we all gave room to hear each other out, hear each other's perspectives, and as well as those of you in the comments, right? Lending your perspectives. And I think that those are all the things that make relationships work, is hearing each other out, giving each other the benefit of the doubt. And let's not lose the plot. This is Love Island, right? So the goal of Love Island was to leave here with a couple where you develop feelings and to go on and to collect $100,000, right? And let's not forget, Amaya and Brian won it all, right? So we don't want to lose the plot. We got caught up in a lot of nuances, and that happens in relationships. So I think this is a lesson for us, right? Sometimes we get so into the minutia that we lose the plot. We lose the plot. And then we get to tussling about stuff that's not even necessary, right? So let's not lose the plot. And then sometimes in those conversations, we learn a lot. We get to learn. So I think that's another lesson that I took away. Sometimes you got to listen, before you react, right? Look to empathize, look to find somebody's point before we're so quick to dismiss them, right? So for the people that don't like Huda, including me, maybe sometimes listen a little bit and hear and try to see things from their perspective, right? And that's for anybody else, whether it's Huda, whether it's Amaya, whether it's, you name it, whether it's Chris, whether it's anybody. Look to try to find something in somebody that you don't identify with. And I think that's when you learn. Because if you're easily gravitating to people who you see yourself in, or you're easily jumping on to somebody that's just like you, sometimes you're not going to learn. So sometimes take a step back. And I think I've learned to do that in my friendships and my relationships. And that's where you come out on the other side of it and you can learn something new. And that's that on that. I thank you all again. Have a good night. God bless. And stay safe out there.
God bless you. Have fun, Chris.
Take care.